Chapter 980. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival. He's a variable, and variables can't be determined by common sense. Any natural law can't bind variables. The power of desire and the imperial Tao combined to create a wondrous book that isn't the least bit inferior to what we got from the god Necropolis. His potential is limitless. The Devil Lord's eyes were profound as he looked at the Heavenfall battlefield. Perhaps he has the potential to become a sovereign lord. What do you think of the heavenly coffin? The space sovereign asked. If I'm not mistaken, the heavenly coffin has the same origin as the tomb of the god of sin. It has immeasurable power. If it weren't for the heavenly coffin, even if we had the tomb of the god of sin to support us, I'm afraid we would have been sealed. That said, the crisis has finally come to an end. The sovereign of fate seemed to be somewhat moved. Fate was the greatest variable in heaven and earth, and the most terrifying variable. At this moment, in the future, the slovenly know-it-all suddenly jumped up from an ancient tree. The expression on his face was very interesting. Sometimes it was red, sometimes it was white, and sometimes it was green. It was as if he had opened a dyeing workshop. Even his skinny body was trembling violently, as if he knew something inconceivable. This sealed memory actually has something to do with him. He actually participated in the Heavenfall War of the Primordial Era. TCH, we even drank and chatted merrily and fought side by side. Damn it, that can't be right. I've been watching his growth all this time. Tiger Hill, the Southern Barbarians, he rose from nothing. That was clearly in the modern world. How could he possibly appear in the Primordial Era? Could it be that space-time has been reversed? The know-it-all scratched his head so hard that his hair was a complete mess. Reversed space-time and returned to the Primordial Era? Even the Sovereign Lord might not be able to use a divine ability like that. What's going on here? Why were the memories related to him sealed back then? And why are they suddenly unsealed now? All sorts of questions filled his mind, and he felt like his head was about to explode. Just now, the mysterious seal in his mind had been completely unsealed, and a figure suddenly appeared in the Primordial Era war. Tion. It turned out to be Tion. Even with his vast knowledge, he couldn't help but feel a strong sense of shock. He had always watched Tion's growth with his own eyes and secretly protected him from time to time. The reason for this was because when he first saw him, he instinctively had an indescribable premonition. Otherwise, with his status, he would not have paid attention to a small demon. However, he did not expect that the memory that had been sealed since ancient times was related to Tion. Furthermore, according to his memory, it happened in ancient times. This made him somewhat unable to fathom why the same identity appeared in both the ancient and modern world at the same time. This was something that had never happened before in the world. The possibilities hidden within were simply too shocking. The Celestial Emperor's war chariot, the immemorial 9 dragons, the book of shocking the imperial world, the indestructible body, the tiger soul, the 7 sins demonic zither, and the bell of heavenly samsara. It's definitely him. The know-it-all narrowed his eyes. Wisps of light flashed from time to time. He was sure that the person he saw in ancient times was definitely the Tion that he knew. See you again 10,000 years later? So that's the meaning of that sentence back then. I finally understand a little bit. The know-it-all took a deep breath. Some of the mysteries in his heart were suddenly solved. His eyes were deep and there was a faint surprise. So there is still an elite of the demon race left. The Astral Battle Island. Where was the demon emperor sent the Astral Battle Island? When his memory was sealed, he had always thought that the Astral Battle Island had been destroyed in the Great War. But now he knew that not only was the Astral Battle Island not destroyed, but there were still the elites of the demon race left after the Great War. They were also the experts with the most potential that had been honed in the Great War. In all the heavens and realms, I'm afraid no one knows that the demon race still has such a hidden heritage. The know-it-all had a playful look on his face. After slumbering on the starry Battle Island for tens of thousands of years, the survivors were the most elite of the demon race. They were the ones with the greatest potential. Almost the weakest among them were at the peak of the ancient demon saint realm. Given the ability of the starry Battle Island, breaking through to the ancient heavenly demon realm was a piece of cake. Back then, there were nearly 10 million demon race warriors who entered the island. Perhaps, when they reappeared, they would give all the heavens and realms a big surprise. At this moment, in the heaven-reaching tower, in the Thousand Snake Valley where the Snake Queen lived, there was not the slightest movement. Less than 2 hours had passed since Tion and the others entered the valley. In the mysterious secret realm formed by the convergence of countless lights and shadows, the Snake Queen, who was dressed in a 9-colored robe and had a human head and a snake body, exuded a faint aura and exuded endless charm. She was still holding her scepter with a calm expression on her face, and did not move an inch. In the center of the secret realm stood an ancient golden door. Every pattern on the surface of the ancient door contained the most profound principles of time and space between heaven and earth. At every moment, it seemed as if countless spaces were constantly being born and disappearing. Inside, time flowed in a disorderly manner, exuding an ancient and desolate aura, as well as an endless future. There was not a trace of direction. The Snake Queen's eyes fell on the ancient door and whispered softly, Tian Peng, you sacrificed yourself to obtain this space-time gate to leave an opportunity for the demon race to rise. I promise to guard it for you. However, whether Tion can obtain the demon summoning banner or not depends on his luck. If he does not come out in a year, the space-time gate's origin will be exhausted and it will collapse on its own. I can't do anything about it. She seemed to be talking to the ancient door. Boom! Suddenly, the door of the ancient world, which had been standing motionless, suddenly emitted waves of strange space-time power without any warning. It shook slightly, causing ripples to appear in the surrounding space. Wave-like ripples flickered in the ancient door and quickly twisted to form a golden vortex. The space-time gate has been activated. Is he coming back? The Snake Queen's seductive body trembled slightly, and her eyes fell on the ancient door without blinking. Whoosh! A golden light flashed, and a slender figure slowly walked out of the vortex. Crack! The moment he walked out of the gate of time and space behind him, hideous and terrifying cracks immediately appeared on it. Like a spider web, they quickly spread in all directions. With a crisp sound, the gate of time and space shattered on the spot into small pieces. They scattered on the ground. All of the divine light dimmed in an instant. Every fragment became like the most ordinary stone, without the slightest bit of light. The space-time gate was broken. However, above the fragments, a long sleeve suddenly swept across and took away all the fragments. Tion looked up and looked around. Looking at the strange scene around him, the monstrous fighting spirit that had been in his eyes since the ancient war gradually disappeared. I'm finally back. He slowly breathed a sigh of relief. His tense state of mind could not help but be relieved. His whole body and mind felt like they had been reborn. Congratulations, Demon Emperor. I'll wait for you in the Snake Residence. The Snake Empress looked at Sakura, who had reappeared, and nodded her head slightly. The look in her eyes when she looked at him was completely different. It was no longer the condescending look from before, but a kind of equality, as if she was facing the same existence as herself. The tone of her voice also had a hint of admiration. After she finished speaking, she turned to leave. In fact, in her heart, it was like a tsunami that was constantly rolling and surging, violently fluctuating. What kind of existence was she? With just a glance, she had already discovered the difference in the aura on Tion's body. His skin naturally emitted divine light, and an invisible deterrent force, which had caused him to undergo an earth-shattering transformation before and after entering the ancient door. His body is covered by a treasure light, and his flesh and blood are one, and his strength is infinite. His hair is like a divine weapon, and when he raises his hand, it's as if he could collapse the sky. He actually proved his Tao with strength, and shattered the vacuum. The moment she left, a thought flashed across her mind. When she thought of this fact, she could not help but become solemn. Proving one's Tao with strength was more difficult than the path of an ordinary supreme demon god. Similarly, once she really broke through that layer of shackles, although there was a flaw in her primordial spirit, her physical strength alone was enough to contend against a peerless expert. Snake Queen? Tian looked at the back of the Snake Queen, and there was also a trace of doubt in his heart. He still had a feeling that he could not see through the Snake Queen. She was not a demon, but she had an ancient aura. Haha, crazy Emperor, you've really struck it rich this time. I didn't expect to have the opportunity to return to the ancient times. This time, just the various demonic treasures, demonic weapons, and countless materials that can only be found in the demon god continent are so huge that it's even more than the exquisite treasure vault that you obtained previously, and even the crimson treasure tide. Just these gains alone are boundless. Nether shouted in excitement. At this moment, the Nether prison was filled with demon gods' devil souls. All of them were killed by Sakura. There were hundreds of millions, no, billions of demon gods' devil souls. These demonic souls, even the cultivation techniques obtained from torture would be extremely valuable. The cultivation techniques obtained from torture could be sent into the altar of lust to be refined into the sacred spirit of lust. Demonic souls were the best refining materials. Phew! Tian exhaled slowly, and a strange thought appeared in his mind. If I hadn't entered the gate of space and time, would I have been there during the ancient war? If I hadn't been there, would the demonic gods have really lost their last bit of vitality? Or was it destiny that I would return to the ancient times? In that case, was my fate really in the hands of destiny? If it wasn't, then why would I be here? A jumbled mess of thoughts reverberated in his mind, as if they were in an unsolvable loop. To be continued. If you want to know what happens next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. I support the author, and I support the original readers. Chapter 981. Was it because he had returned to the ancient times that he had achieved what he had in this life, or was it because of his current strength that he could return to the ancient times and change the situation? Was it because his fate had already been decided, or was his fate still under his control? The questions were like a cycle of unsolvable problems. Ha! Suddenly, Sakura shook his head and chuckled. He raised his head to look at the surroundings and muttered, "No matter if it's because of my actions or because of other reasons, what does it have to do with me? I am me. As long as I get what I want, that's enough. As long as I don't lose my mind, no one can control me." He mocked himself in his heart. The question just now was like asking if there was an egg and then a chicken, or if there was a chicken and then an egg. Hee. Actually, crazy Emperor, you don't have to worry about these questions. Your existence is a variable. However, the real harvest this time is too great. Leaving the heaven-reaching tower and returning to the demon city is enough to increase the overall strength of the demon race. Dark said with a strange smile. It could be considered to have seen clearly that Sakura's existence was a complete variable. Wherever he went, he would cause a huge change. What was a variable? That was because he was filled with endless possibilities. There was no fixed number. For the same thing, under the influence of fate, others might follow a certain path, but for him, it was filled with endless possibilities. Perhaps with a single thought, he could make all sorts of choices. Such an existence's fate was not something that could be controlled by anyone. Such a variable was the most terrifying. It was full of too many unknowns. Variable? Sakura smiled calmly and inwardly thought about his own harvest. The biggest gain was that he had cultivated the indestructible Emperor body to the 10th level. Although he was not a demon god, he had the battle strength to match an unparalleled expert. Then there were the will crystals he had extracted from the heaven devils and devil generals. There were more than 100,000 of them, all of which were stored in the jade box. Once he got back, he would be able to use them to quickly solidify his imperial will. That way, he would be able to reach the heavenly demon level without any obstacles. All these gains were extremely difficult to come by in the future. Let's go. It's time to meet the Snake Queen. After sorting out the harvest from this trip to the ancient times, Sakra straightened his body and took a step forward, tearing open the secret realm. As he took a step forward, the scenery in front of him changed. In the blink of an eye, he had already left the grotesque and variegated secret realm and stepped into the real valley. Tisk tsk. So many snakes, and all of them are ancient snakes. Nether clicked his tongue and cried out. After entering the valley, he casually took a look and saw colorful strange snakes everywhere on the ground. Snake holes of all sizes could be seen everywhere. When those strange snakes saw Sakra coming in, they spat out their tongues one after another as ominous glints shot out from their eyes. Tion only slightly released a trace of pressure, and the surrounding strange snakes all retreated. In the valley there was a bamboo residence made of green bamboo. It looked very elegant and was guarded by many blood kill guards. Shweshur and the others were in the courtyard. "Your Majesty, you're finally out." Seeing Tion come, Shweshur and the other demons in the courtyard immediately came forward to greet him. "Gord Luzi and Xie Sanyang greet your Majesty." Suddenly, Gord Luzi, who had always been cold and arrogant, took a few steps forward with Xie Sanyang and bowed respectfully. Looking at the expression in their eyes, when they looked at Sakra, their eyes revealed shock, surprise, awe, respect, and so on. It was extremely complicated. However, their actions were no longer as arrogant as before. Instead, there was a trace of inexplicable restraint. When Tion heard this, he glanced around and saw the change in Gord Luzi and the others. He nodded slightly, but his heart was already clear. "Where are Medusa and Shwewuya?" In the courtyard, 2 people were missing. "Your Majesty?" Shweshur said in a deep voice. "The Snake Queen sent Shwewuya away as soon as we came in. I don't know where they went." "Medusa is talking with the Snake Queen in the bamboo house. The Snake Queen said that if your Majesty comes, you can go in directly to find them." Shwewuya was sent away? Could it be that he went to receive the inheritance? Did the rock demon Venerable really die? A thought flashed across his mind, but he still nodded and said, "Go and tidy up. When I come out, we will immediately return to the demon city." As he spoke, he walked into the bamboo house. At this moment, the entire purple gold mainland was in an uproar. Countless divine wills and news were spreading crazily from all over the place. Countless ears were reporting to each other, spreading the news everywhere. Countless sects and forces were shocked. Because, after the 1,000 Heroes Summit, the heroes gathered and finally began to take action. On the 3rd day there was news. Big news, big news. It's incredible. The various clans and heroes have formed an alliance at the 1,000 Heroes Summit. There are no less than 1,000 ancient giants following the guidance of the Jade Slab. They have indeed found traces of the Demon Suppression Valley in a barren mountain range. The various clans have worked together to break the space barrier and entered the Demon Suppression Valley. They were blocked by the Blood River. There are countless blood corpses in the Blood River. According to the experts of the various clans, these blood corpses are creatures of various clans who died in the war with the demon gods in the ancient times. Some were even transformed by the demon god. There are many of them. Each of them has tyrannical battle strength and extremely strong physical bodies. There are also blood corpse emperors who are comparable to ancient giants. The blue-robed human Venerable was sucked dry of blood by the blood corpse emperors. He was torn into pieces and fell into the blood river, dying on the spot. An ancient giant from the Yen clan, Qi Yen, was also ambushed by the Blood Corpse Emperors and was swept into the Blood River. The various clans lost tens of thousands of cultivators. The battlefield was extremely tragic. There were specialized ears that were constantly monitoring the progress in the Demon Suppression Valley. However, as soon as they entered, they suffered an unimaginable blow at the first checkpoint. The blood corpses blotted out the sky and covered the earth. Almost as soon as the battle started, the heroes suffered considerable losses. Some of the weaker ones almost died under the claws of the blood corpses. The Alliance was dealt a blow on the spot. Even ancient giants fell one after another. As soon as the news spread, all the major forces on the Purple Gold mainland were in an uproar. The various clans began to worry. However, when they thought of the demon heart in the Demon Suppression Valley, none of the cultivators would retreat. The fourth day. Good news. Many ancient giants in the Alliance have joined forces and opened a passage through the Blood River. The Alliance is advancing into the Demon Suppression Valley. According to reliable information, the Allied forces have already entered the Devil Suppression Valley. The valley is filled with countless skeletons left behind after the ancient war. There are devil gods and various races. Each of those skeletons is a top-grade material for refining weapons. Some cultivators have already found ancient treasures inside. The news came one after another. From the news, it was obvious that the group of cultivators had already begun to plunder a large amount of wealth after entering the valley. Almost every demon god that died in the ancient times had tyrannical strength. Their bodies were strong and their skeletons also had great power. They were rare materials to refine magic treasures. The fifth day. Not good. There are actually demon gods hidden in the Demon Suppression Valley. They are demon gods, and they are sky demon level demon gods. There are close to 100,000 sky demon gods. It's over. It's all over. The various clans are fighting the demon gods. The losses are extremely heavy. The Alliance has been defeated. All the cultivators have been scattered and are fleeing outside. Blood is flowing like a river. It's really a river of blood. The Alliance that entered the Demon Suppression Valley has lost more than 90% of its members. A peerless human powerhouse has appeared to stop the demon gods. They are still fighting fiercely. I'm guessing that the Demon Suppression Valley has been occupied by the demon gods, and there are demon emperor-level powerhouses inside. News after news spread like wildfire throughout the entire Purple Gold continent. Everyone who heard it was in an uproar. An indescribable shock almost made the various clans unable to close their mouth. Demon gods? And they were sky demon-level demon gods. A total of 100,000 sky demon gods were actually hiding in the Demon Suppression Valley, and no one knew about it. This fact made countless forces feel cold in their hearts. Everyone knew how terrifying demon gods were. The rule of the demon god continent had always been the law of the jungle. The weak were waiting for destruction. Back in the ancient times, when the demon god invaded, his plan was to devour the entire Purple Gold mainland. He wanted to kill all the living things on it. Destroy all living things. The devastation of that battle had not been forgotten even now. However, no one would have thought that there would be so many demon gods on the Violet Gold mainland. 100,000 heavenly demons. If all of them were to enter the mainland and start a massacre, the bloody storm that would be created would be enough to wipe out countless lives. The danger was almost immeasurable. In the Demon City, in the Jade Pool, Qingxia stood in front of Chen Shi and quickly reported the news she received. The news was about the defeat of the alliance between the human race and the various clans in the Demon Suppression Valley, as well as the 100,000 sky demon gods. Almost 90% of the alliance between the human race and the various clans were killed in the Demon Suppression Valley? When Chen Shi heard this, a strange look flashed across his face, and then he said, "The Demon Emperor previously said that we demons are not to interfere in anything related to the demon gods. Now we demons are no longer the main characters of the world. Even if the sky falls, there are still humans to hold it up. The demons who had suffered once did not want to suffer a second time. However, once the news of the 100,000 sky demon gods spreads, most of the cultivators on the purple gold continent will enter the demon city. If they want to rely on the supreme divine artifact to take refuge, pass down the order that the auction will be arranged as soon as possible. Yes, the auction. This was something that the demon city had been busy with recently. The demon city wanted to become stronger again and complete the various laws in the Imperial Jade Archive. The amount of resources required was unimaginable. Only by using a place like the auction could they have the opportunity to collect all kinds of precious spiritual materials. Continuously completing the laws in the Jade Archive. All 3,000 laws were completed. This was a huge project that ordinary cultivators could not imagine. To be continued. If you want to know the future, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 982. Although many of the great Tao talismans had been completed in the Imperial Jade Archive, the amount of treasures used to complete each one was immeasurable. It was formed by the accumulation of priceless war islands, void crystal, builder wood, godseal steel, and so on. Each of them was a supreme treasure that countless cultivators dreamed of obtaining. The Imperial Jade Archive was like a bottomless pit, continuously devouring all kinds of supreme treasures. However, while the great Tao talismans were being completed, the myriad demon city was also becoming stronger. Every time a talisman was completed, there would be an additional great Tao pattern on the ancient city. Once a talisman was completed, the great Tao laws that belonged to the myriad demon city would be born. It would be easier to comprehend the laws and principles within. The Imperial Jade Archive was the foundation of the myriad demon city's ascension to the immortal grade. Only when the 3,000 great Taos were completed would the laws of heaven and earth be formed in the ancient city. Only then would it truly be without any flaws and become an independent heaven and earth. It would have a mystical power comparable to the purple gold continent. It could be said that once it became an immortal grade divine artifact, the myriad demon city would become another purple gold continent. How could such an ascension not require a small amount of resources? It had to gather all kinds of unique treasures from all over the universe, absorb the laws of heaven and earth, gather all kinds of cultivation methods, and imbue them into the Imperial Jade Archive. All of this required a good platform. Without a doubt, the auction house was the most direct and simple way and platform. The myriad demon city was blessed by the heavens. It was a supreme divine artifact, and in terms of safety, it could be said to be the best in the world. Spirit wine, all kinds of spiritual treasures from the banished lands, and even the longevity pill were unique treasures that could bring great attraction to the auction house. There was also a large number of magic treasures and pills refined by the demon race's refiners and alchemists. All kinds of rare treasures. The myriad demon city alone had prepared no less than 30 million items for this auction. If the auction was opened and other cultivators entrusted it to sell, it could be predicted that the number of items auctioned would definitely exceed 100 million. The scale, the number of items, and the variety of items would definitely surpass the exquisite auction of the past. Notify Tian Can and Huang Quan. After the Purple Firmament auction house is done forging, have Dan Wang go to the 100 Herb Garden and ask Susu for a batch of heaven and earth essence. Then, lead all the alchemists and refine as many pills as possible. In the meantime, all the refiners would be provided with unlimited materials and blueprints. They would try their best to craft enough magical equipment and even acquired spiritual treasures before the auction. Divine weapon. The success or failure of the auction this time concerns the face of our myriad demon city. We absolutely cannot allow the slightest mistake. Chen-shi paid no attention to the fact that the heroes had suffered a setback in the devil-suppressing valley. That had nothing to do with the demon clan. The ones who should be troubled were the humans and the other races. However, the threat of the demon god might have a huge impact on the auction. After obtaining such a huge harvest, there was no room for any accident. A good start was very important. As long as this auction was a success, it would make a name for itself. There would be no need to advertise, as there would naturally be an endless stream of rare and precious treasures coming to the auction house. Yes, Qing Xia will go and deliver the decree now. Hearing this, Qing Xia's valiant face showed respect, and she looked at Chen-shi with admiration. The reason why the Myriad Demon City was still in order when the Demon King was absent was that Chen-shi, the Demon Empress, was guarding the Jade Pool and stabilizing the Demon Heart. She thought to herself, I heard a saying in the human clan that behind every successful man, there is a great woman. In my opinion, the woman behind His Majesty the Demon King is the Demon Empress. Empress, there is one more thing to report to you. Qing Xia did not go out immediately. Instead, she spoke again. What is it? Reporting to the Empress, after my demon city stopped in the southern barbarian, the remaining demon clansmen on the purple gold continent and even in the myriad worlds have all gathered in the city. Every day, a large number of demon clansmen enter the city. There is no lack of experts among them. Hu and the others suspect that there may be spies of other forces hidden among these returning clansmen. Qing Xia's eyes flashed. Even if it was the demon clan, there would be traitors. Since ancient times, the changes that had happened were too great. It's fine. Inform Baiwei and let the demon guard secretly supervise. If there is any movement that endangers the Myriad Demon City, we can act at our discretion and start to clean it up. Chen-shi said after pondering for a while. There were no fish in the clear water. Some things were inevitable. If they made a big fuss because of this, it would not be the best solution. Yes. Qing Xia agreed and left respectfully. Chen-shi stood up slightly and walked to a garden. She looked at the void, pinching a mysterious petal between her fingers, and muttered to herself, calculating the time, it should be about time for my husband to return. This time, if nothing goes wrong, it should be time for him to become an emperor. I wonder if Mingxi and the others have discussed the rules of distance for the construction of the demon court. She knew that what Di Shitian was doing now was to truly establish an emperor dynasty that belonged to the demon clan. Just like how the human race established countries, in front of a truly complete national machine, no matter how strong an individual was, they would be destroyed. Only by establishing an emperor dynasty could the overall strength of the demon clan be completely and efficiently coordinated. There was a unified order to guide the demon clan to develop together, directing all their energy to the same place, truly like a whole, not a plate of loose sand. However, this required the establishment of a management organization that supported the entire demon court. These were all done by Mingxi, Hu, and the other wise men of the demon clan. Once they became emperors and formed the demon court, it would definitely be the time for all the forces in the Myriad Demon City to rearrange their positions. A complete organization could drive the development of the entire demon clan. Chen-shi was secretly paying attention to this. This was a major event in the future. However, he did not mention that the Purple Firmament auction house was being built in the Myriad Demon City with great fanfare, preparing for the auction. Although the demon clan did not care if the demon god would appear, in the purple gold continent, the various factions and clans had an indescribable reaction and shock to the defeat in the Demon Suppression Valley. At the intersection of the East, West, South, and North Sea, there was a unique sea area called the Dragon Region. The intersection of the 4 sea areas could be said to be a one-of-a-kind miracle in the entire purple gold continent. Moreover, the place where they converged was not the real sea, but the convergence of the tides of the 4 great seas, forming a mysterious area. This sea area was very unique. Later on, it was found by the Dragon Clan and occupied, becoming the ancestral land of the Dragon Clan. This sea area was called the Dragon Region. It had always been extremely difficult for those without the Dragon Clan bloodline to enter. There were various branches of the Dragon Clan living in it. Most importantly, there was the most important place for the Dragon Clan, the Ancestral Dragon Palace. The Ancestral Dragon Palace was the true foundation of the Dragon Clan. Only the Dragon Clan that had reached the level of an ancient giant could enter the Ancestral Dragon Palace to live. Obtain a dragon throne. At this moment, in the Ancestral Dragon Palace, there was a black-haired youth wearing a black dragon robe sitting on the main seat. However, his eyes were closed. There did not seem to be any aura of an expert on his body. It looked a little strange. However, in the palace, there was no disrespectful gaze toward him. On both sides were dragon thrones. Some of the dragon thrones were already occupied by dragon emperors, while others were empty. However, there were no less than 100 dragon emperors present. If this was released, it would be a huge threat. There are actually close to 100,000 sky demon hidden in the Demon Suppression Valley. The Demon God continent has such a profound plan. According to reliable news, it has been confirmed that close to 90% of the Allied forces that entered the Demon Suppression Valley have been lost. It is said that the real reason for such a serious loss is that they were bewitched by the demon heart sealed in the Demon Suppression Tower. A dragon emperor wearing a red dragon robe said in a deep voice, "It seems that the demon god has not given up on the origin world and is already itching to make a move." Close to 100,000 sky demon? The demon god continent is indeed far stronger than us. We Dragon Clan must be vigilant. Once the annihilation tide comes, it will be accompanied by another great war, another dragon emperor wearing an ice blue palace dress said. She was extremely wary of the demon god continent. Yes, this time, we Dragon Clan did not join the Allied forces and avoided a disaster. Speaking of which, it is all thanks to the news from the Demon Emperor of the Demon Clan. In my opinion, the Demon Clan's strength is recovering at an astonishing speed. With the Demon City as the foundation, even an unparalleled expert cannot destroy the Demon Clan. Now, the Demon Clan's population in the Demon City is close to 10 billion. Although most of them are weak spirit beasts and demon beasts, it is foreseeable that the Demon Clan's future is unstoppable. Moreover, the Demon Emperor can be called a hero. I think that we Dragon Clan and the Demon Clan should be closer to each other. A middle-aged dragon emperor wearing a golden dragon robe had a wise look in his eyes. It was the Yenbo Dragon Emperor in the Misty Wave Lake. Because of his 3 daughters, he had a close attitude toward the Demon Clan. That's right, the rise of the Demon Clan is unstoppable. In ancient times, the Dragon Clan was also a part of the Demon Clan. I have no objection to being close to the Demon Clan. This time, we owe the Demon Emperor a favor. The Dragon Emperors spoke one after another. The black-robed youth sitting on top kept his eyes closed, but in his heart, he had an inexplicable feeling. The Celestial Emperor's war chariot, the peerless Demon Emperor, so it's you. So the Ode to Heaven was talking about you. Star Clan, Force Clan, and so on. A group of clans that received the news and withdrew temporarily made a decision to be close to the Demon Clan. Immediately, batches of youths from various clans were sent to the Demon City. However, the various clans that suffered heavy losses in the Demon Suppression Valley were furious. Especially among the humans, the 10 major immortal sects were all furious. They immediately spread the word that the 10 major immortal sects would send their supreme artifact to the Demon Suppression Valley to suppress the demon god. Purge the peace of the purple gold continent and eliminate the demon god. Restore peace to the heavens. Give justice to the dead. To be continued. If you want to know what will happen next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 983. Excuses. This was an excuse. Once this news spread, many smart people immediately understood that this was an excuse for the 10 great immortal sects. Although they suffered a setback in the Demon Suppression Valley and the Allied forces suffered heavy losses, in the plan, the Allied forces were just a vanguard for the joint operation, a test of the Demon Suppression Valley. Although there were losses, the human clan accounted for the majority of the losses among the various clans, but the losses were not too great. The true strength of the human clan had never been revealed. This declaration was obviously a perfect excuse for the Demon Suppression Valley incident, a perfect excuse for the use of the supreme artifact. The ruler's order restricted the actions of unparalleled experts. However, now that a demon god had appeared in the purple gold mainland, and a large number of sky demon at that, there should be no such restriction for the use of the supreme artifact to suppress and kill the demon god. After all, the demon god was the enemy of the entire purple gold mainland and all living beings in the universe. It was not too much to use all means. Obviously, the demon god in the Demon Suppression Valley had given the 10 great immortal sects a rare excuse. Any cultivator with the slightest bit of intelligence would be able to guess the purpose of their words. The 10 great immortal sects were indeed old foxes. Not only were they aiming for the demon god, but they also wanted to occupy the entire Demon Suppression Valley. For a moment, the atmosphere of the entire continent was a little strange. At this moment, in a mountain range, a slender figure slowly walked forward step by step. Every step he took seemed to be pushed by an invisible force. Although he did not seem to be moving slowly, every step he took covered a distance of several hundred feet. He walked forward quickly. Lunatic D, you have already obtained the demon summoning banner. Instead of returning to the demon city to prepare to establish the imperial court and ascend to the throne of the demon emperor, you are going to the human world. Could it be that you want to do something again? Dark asked curiously. The person walking in the mountain forest was D. Shirtion. However, he did not return to the demon city immediately. Instead, he went directly to the human world after leaving the heaven-reaching tower. There was no trace of smoke or fire in his footstep. His aura was completely restrained. As long as he did not make a move, no one would be able to see through him. As a man, there are some things I should do and some things I should not. There are some things that shouldn't be shouldered by women. It's time for me to shoulder them. As D. Shirtion walked, he raised his head and looked at the void. His eyes flashed with an inexplicable light. His trip to the sky-reaching tower could be said to be perfect. Not only did he achieve his goal of obtaining the demon summoning banner, but his cultivation base had also improved to the level where he could fight against peerless experts. He had also plundered countless treasures and obtained countless demonic souls. The demonic arts that were forced out at every moment were extremely precious. Once they were integrated into the Jade Archive of the Ultimate Emperor, the great Tao in the Jade Archive would become even more complete. Even the Emperor's will had been condensed into 73 pieces. It could be said that before and after entering the Tower of Babel, his body had undergone a heaven-defying transformation. However, it was also a pity. Before leaving Skysplit Tower, he had asked the Snake Queen and found out that Shuewiao was receiving the great rock demon Venerable's inheritance, while Du had been taken away by the Emperor Phoenix Ancestor, who lived in the 9th level of Skysplit Tower to receive the most orthodox bloodline inheritance. Once the inheritance was completed, she would naturally be released. Katomi, I'm coming. Slowly retracting his gaze, D. Shirtion said firmly in his heart. His footsteps became even more resolute. As he walked forward, his mind was constantly deducing cultivation technique. In his mind, in the vast sea of consciousness, there were countless figures that looked exactly like D. Shirtion. They were either sitting cross-legged and practicing cultivation techniques, or holding weapons and practicing battle skills. They were also constantly changing into various flowers, trees, birds, and beasts, deducing divine abilities. Among the countless figures, there was a purple gold book that was constantly rotating slowly. On the surface of the book, the ancient seal of the ultimate emperor shocking the world appeared. Inside were all cultivation techniques, various divine abilities, and various battle skills. If it were to be leaked, countless cultivators in the entire continent would probably die fighting for it. However, this peerless book had not been completely perfected. There was only the 11th volume. The 12th and 13th volumes behind it were unable to reach the realm of peerless experts due to the limitations of their cultivation base. They had been stranded and could not be created. However, at this moment, Tion proved his Tao with strength and forcibly shattered the vacuum. At a glance, he could faintly see the operation of the laws of heaven and earth. The truth of heaven and earth could be clearly perceived almost all the time. He gradually had a sense of the realm of peerless expert. He also secretly began to deduce the 12th volume of cultivation technique. Deducing a cultivation technique had always been a huge project. It was simply not something that could be completed in a day. Immersed in the deduction, unknowingly, when the vast moon disappeared and the sun rose from the east, a burst of noise sounded in his ears. Tion was awakened from his deduction. Huh? Tianji City? Tianji City? Ancient cultivation city? Sakura raised his eyes and looked forward. Immediately, a huge ancient city was reflected in his eyes. This ancient city was in the sky above the wilderness, floating motionlessly. However, the aura that was emitted from the ancient city showed that this ancient city was a supreme divine weapon. It had a considerable combat power. The ancient city was so huge that it could accommodate tens of millions of creatures without feeling the slightest bit crowded. Above the ancient city, ancient golden characters appeared. It was Tianji City. There was no doubt that this was an ancient city for cultivators to gather. Tisk, Tsk, Crazy D, Tianji City has the meaning of Tianji City. This place should not be too far from the Tianji Valley that you are going to. Maybe this ancient city has a close relationship with your little lover's clan. Since seeing the demon souls in the infernal prison, Ming was in a good mood. Now, he even had the mood to tease Tion. The city seems to be very lively. Let's go in and have a look. It's a good opportunity to inquire about what's happening on the continent now. A thought flashed through Tion's mind quickly. There seemed to be something happening in the city, and there was a burst of noise. Immediately, he was curious. Without much hesitation, he walked into the ancient city. Although the ancient city was guarded, there were no restrictions on entry. He easily entered the city. He quickly glanced around. In the ancient city there were buildings, shops, and all kinds of facilities. On the side of the street, some cultivators directly pulled a piece of cloth and set up a stall. There was an endless stream of cultivators in the city. Not only humans, but also cultivators of other clans could be easily seen. The city was very lively. At a glance, there were no less than millions of cultivators. However, there was a kind of elegant charm in the city. It was like the residence of a hermit. Chimes, stringed and bamboo instruments, jade flutes, guqin, and other magic treasures were placed everywhere. Each of them could be called a masterpiece. Sure enough, it has something to do with the Heavenly Sound clan. Seeing this, Tion nodded to himself. He was sure that Tianji City must have something to do with the Heavenly Sound clan. Crazy D, look ahead. Tion looked at a restaurant not far away. The restaurant occupied a large area with 5 attics. The name of the restaurant was Elegant Wind Residence. The overall structure was very elegant. In the restaurant there was a burst of banging sounds. It seemed that there was a fight. Demon aura? Suddenly, Tion couldn't help but frown slightly. In the restaurant, he clearly felt the existence of a strange demon aura. There seemed to be a certain demon inside. Whoosh! In the window of the restaurant, a purple figure directly rushed out of the window and immediately fled outside, wanting to leave the ancient city as soon as possible. Quick! Quick! Catch that little demon! How dare she eat and dash in the elegant wind residence? She ate a full 10,000 spirit stones at the immortal banquet. If we don't catch her, our elegant wind residence will be disgraced. Humph! Don't let her run away. Catch her and send her to the auction to pay off the debt. The thin purple figure broke out of the window. As soon as she landed on the ground, she immediately tried to escape. However, although she was fast, the cultivators who chased out of the restaurant were faster. Many figures instantly blocked in front of the purple figure. They quickly surrounded her. Eat and dash? Chertien's expression was slightly strange. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly. He didn't expect to see such a thing here. However, he still looked over calmly. A group of cultivators had already gathered around. They formed a circle, and the surroundings became impenetrable. In the encirclement, he saw a little girl who looked to be only 12 or 13 years old. She had long purple hair and wore a purple dress. Although her appearance was ordinary, she was very pleasant to look at and made people feel a sense of familiarity. She was like a carved jade and made people feel fond of her. At this moment, there was a look of panic on her face. She looked around with some fear. There was a strong sense of fear in her eyes. Opposite her, 3 green-clothed cultivators looked at her with cold faces. One of them sneered and said, "Little demon, you want to leave after eating and dashing? You're thinking too lightly. Don't make us 3 brothers attack you. You'd better go back with us obediently." As he said that, he took a step forward. "No, I'm not going back." When the little girl heard this, her eyes were filled with fear. However, in the blink of an eye, she showed an expression of being very powerful and shouted, "Didn't I just eat a little of your food? In the past, I never asked for money when I ate outside, and you still want to catch me. Let me tell you, the Demon Emperor is my big brother. If you dare to touch me, my big brother will definitely not let you go when he finds out." "Humph! The Demon Emperor is your big brother?" A green-clothed cultivator sneered and said, "If your big brother is the Demon Emperor, then I am a peerless expert. You want to lie to us with such a lie?" His words were full of sarcasm. As he said that, he began to approach her step by step. Don't come over." The purple-haired little girl's face was a little panicked. She shouted as she retreated. However, her hands bared fangs and brandished claws, revealing a fierce expression. She shouted, "Let me tell you. Don't come over. I'm very ferocious." To be continued. If you want to know what happened next, please go to www.chidien.com. Support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 984. The purple-haired girl bared her fangs and brandished her claws, deliberately showing a ferocious look on her face. However, with her figure and appearance, in the eyes of the surrounding cultivators, it seemed like a bluff. They did not feel threatened at all. Instead, they felt that it was funny. She was clearly a little girl. How could she pretend to be ferocious? Instead, she showed the fear in her heart. "Humph! You're ferocious? If you're ferocious, then I'm even more ferocious." When a green-robed cultivator heard that, he sneered even more. He continued to approach. A light flashed in his hand and a dark golden net appeared, flickering with dark golden light. It was obviously a good Dharma treasure. When the little girl saw that, the panic in her eyes increased. She screamed, "Let me tell you, I'm very ferocious. If you come any closer, I won't be polite anymore. When I'm ferocious, even I'm afraid of myself." "Then show us how ferocious you are." How could the green-robed cultivators believe her words that were obviously a bluff? When the purple-haired girl saw that the cultivators were gradually approaching and that there was no way for her to escape, the panic in her heart completely enveloped her entire mind. Suddenly she screamed. Her entire body was suddenly wrapped in a layer of purple mist, making it impossible for people to see the changes inside. This violet aura merely flashed for a moment before vanishing. However, when the violet aura dissipated, The purple-haired girl that originally stood at the center had already vanished. In her place was a violet-colored marten. This violet marten was only the size of a person, and its entire body was suffused with a violet-colored mist. Its body was faintly discernible within the mist, and it emitted a concealed and noble aura. It was exceptionally beautiful. It made people fall in love with it at first glance. In the eyes of the purple marten, there was a look of fear. Its purple eyes flickered with divine light. She said, "You're all bad people who bully Zixien. Let me tell you, Zixien is very ferocious. Zixien is not afraid of you." As she spoke, she mustered up her courage and glared at the 3 green-robed cultivators in front of her. Swoosh! 2 rays of purple light shot out from her eyes and landed on a green-robed cultivator. That cultivator had the cultivation of a heavenly immortal, which was equivalent to a great ancient demon. When he saw the girl suddenly turn into a sable, he was a little surprised. When he saw the 2 rays of purple light shooting out from her eyes, he instinctively wanted to dodge to the side. However, the violet light was truly too swift to the point even heavenly immortals were unable to dodge it. The purple light fell straight on his body. My goodness, what are those 2 purple lights? What a terrifying power! This heavenly immortal's cultivation base is weakening. This is happening so quickly. Hurry, look at his face. In an instant there was an uproar in the surroundings, and they couldn't help but take a step back. Time! D. Shirtian's pupils constricted violently, narrowing into a thin line. His eyes shone brightly as he looked at the sable in the middle. One could clearly see that after the 2 rays of purple light shot out by the sable enveloped that heavenly immortal, his entire body seemed to be fixed in place and began to change at an astonishing speed. His cultivation base was dropping at almost every moment. In the blink of an eye, he fell from the heavenly immortal realm to the earth immortal realm. This was not the end. His cultivation base continued to drop without any signs of stopping. Ascension, tribulation, at the same time that his cultivation base dropped, his appearance also changed at an unbelievable speed. In the blink of an eye, his original 1.8-meter-tall slender body disappeared. What appeared on the spot was actually a fair and chubby newborn baby. There was no cultivation base in his body at all. He was so weak that he could be stomped to death with just a lift of his foot. Rejuvenation? What a terrifying divine ability! This divine ability can actually make a heavenly immortal return to the moment when he was just born. His original cultivation base has completely disappeared. Time reversal? Could it be the heaven-defying divine ability, time reversal? In an instant, the scene in the field completely shocked all the cultivators. Let me tell you, I, Zixien, am very cruel. The sable's childish voice sounded again. The sable's 2 front claws waved forcefully in the air, as if to tell them that she was very powerful and cruel. However, there was a kind of adorable aura about her. If the violet marten said these words before, it would probably cause waves of unrestrained laughter. But now, as they looked at the infant in the arena and then looked at the violet marten, waves of coldness involuntarily emerged from the bottom of their hearts, and the gazes they shot at the violet marten had become unusually fearful, causing them to unconsciously step back. She didn't say that she was lying. She was really cruel. This little demon is very powerful. Quickly go get the demon binding rope. One of the cultivators had a face full of fear as he shouted softly. When the other heard this, he immediately turned around and was about to rush out. Humph! Suddenly, at this moment, a cold snort reverberated in the air. That voice contained an inexplicable deterrent force. When it landed on the 2 cultivators in green, their entire bodies were completely restrained. Under that pressure, it was extremely difficult to even move a finger. Who is it? This thought reverberated in the minds of the surrounding cultivators at the same time. Patter! A sound of unhurried footsteps could be heard. Looking over, they saw Sakura, who was covered in black clothes, walking towards the center with an indifferent expression. Wherever he went, the crowd that was originally impenetrable seemed to be pushed away by an invisible force, invisibly parting to both sides. A path was revealed that led directly to the inside. When the sable saw De Chertion, her purple eyes flashed with a hint of confusion. She turned around to face him, stretched out her claws and clawed wildly in the air. She shouted, "You! Don't come over. Let me tell you, Zixien is very cruel. If I get angry, even I feel afraid. I'm very cruel, I'm very cruel." She kept shouting and making threatening sounds. "Don't worry, I won't hurt you. Come, I'll take you to eat." De Chertion looked at the sable with a gentle gaze and said slowly. There was a faint force in his voice that could not be disobeyed. As he spoke, his gaze swept over the two cultivators. Crack! Immediately, the two cultivators' entire bodies were crushed to pieces by an invisible force at a speed visible to the naked eye. In the blink of an eye, they collapsed, and even their spirits were broken into thousands of pieces. The situation was extremely strange. A hand reached out to the sable. The sable blinked and looked at De Chertion. She seemed to be a little hesitant. However, when she looked at the collapsed cultivators and the calm De Chertion, she tilted her head and thought for a moment. Then, a purple light flashed on her body and she turned back into the little girl in purple. She looked at De Chertion's face with her clear eyes and said carefully, "I'm hungry." She looked a little pitiful. "Let's go, I'll take you to eat." Hearing that, De Chertion reached out to take her slender little hand and walked step by step to the elegant wind residence that she had just come out of. Wherever they went, the surrounding cultivators showed a look of horror and hurriedly stepped back. Some of the young and hot-blooded cultivators seemed to want to rush up to stop them, but they were immediately pulled back by the cultivators next to them. They walked into the elegant wind residence unimpeded. The shopkeeper in the middle of the elegant wind residence was an old man. The word shrewd was almost written on his face. When he saw De Chertion come in, he glanced at the girl in purple who came in with him and did not mention anything about the dine and it. He immediately asked someone to serve them and set up the best banquet. He did not mention anything about what had happened before. It was as if it had never happened. Some of the cultivators in the elegant wind abode even felt their bodies tighten. The scene just now had already fallen into their eyes. "Let go of me! What are you fellows holding me back for?" According to the rules, killing in public in Tianlai City is punishable by death. A young cultivator broke free from the pull of the other cultivators and said with a furious look on his face, "Humph! Young man, do you know that you have just wandered back and forth on the bridge of helplessness several times?" With just a glance, two celestial immortals' bodies collapsed and their divine souls shattered. How can an ordinary expert be like that? Such an expert can casually poke us to death with a finger. You, an earth immortal, want to rush up? You are an old man who has eaten arsenic. You are tired of living. An experienced cultivator lectured from the side. What? Celestial immortals were killed with a glance? The earth immortal was stunned on the spot. He did not have time to see the previous process. Now when he heard it, cold sweat broke out. He quickly thanked, "Thank you for reminding me, Taoist brother. There is a restaurant nearby. Why don't we go there and have a meal? I will treat you." Immediately, the few cultivators walked into a restaurant. In the Demon Suppression Valley, 90% of the allied forces of all clans were lost, and the human clan is going to use the 10 Supreme Artifact. He wants to monopolize AO2 and the Devil Heart. In front of him was a table full of delicious food and wine. All kinds of precious delicacies were not stingy. Opposite him, when Zixien saw the table full of food and wine, her eyes lit up. She let go of her appetite and quickly attacked the food on the table. De Chertion, on the other hand, was deep in thought. Although he was sitting in the elegant wind residence, his clairaudient talent had been naturally displayed, covering the whole Tianji city. All kinds of discussions in the city fell into his ears. In a few breaths, he had obtained all the information he wanted to know. He also knew about the Demon Suppression Valley in an instant. This human race had truly planned it out well. With this excuse of a demonic god, they could unleash the true might of the 10 supreme god weapons. If a god weapon of such caliber were to be unleashed at full force, the killing power that it could unleash would be enough to crush 100,000 heavenly devils into smithereens. They want to monopolize the benefits. Occupy the Demon Suppression Valley. Ming also guessed the human clan's plan and sneered. The demon heart in the Demon Suppression Valley is not that simple. The demon god is not a fool. How can he be passive and take a beating? If I'm not wrong, I'm afraid the Demon Suppression Valley has hidden again. Even if we want to find it, it won't be easy. The demon heart transformed into a demoness, bewitching, is a terrifying existence half a step away from the demon ancestor. If the human clan does not do well, they will go for wool and come back to bite it. Di Shirtian shook his head slightly at the human clan's calculation. If you want to know what happens next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 985. I'm going to participate in the salon tomorrow. The next 2 days of updates might be a little unstable, please understand. Since the demon god dared to lurk in the purple gold continent, how could he not have something to rely on? How could he not know how to hide? Even a cunning rabbit knew about the 3 caves, let alone the demon god. How could he expect the demon god to foolishly stay in a certain place and let others attack him? Di Shirtian was almost certain that the Demon Suppression Valley was hidden even deeper at this moment. It shuttled through countless spatial faults. Moreover, he had tampered with the jade board that he released. As long as it entered the Demon Suppression Valley, the imprint inside would automatically collapse. It would no longer be of any use. Naturally, it would lose the ability to lock onto the Demon Suppression Valley. In this way, it would be even more difficult for the human race to find the Demon Suppression Valley. The Demon Suppression Valley was related to the Space Dominator. It was almost incomparably difficult to divine. Crazy D, you only released a jade board to let the human race and the other races know about the demon god hidden in the Demon Suppression Valley, to warn those who are still daydreaming. The human race also wants to get a share of the Demon Suppression Valley? Wishful thinking. Nether's eyes were filled with disdain as she shouted. Big brother, Zixian is full. At this moment, the little girl sitting opposite him finally stopped. With a casual glance, the various delicacies on the table had been completely devoured by her. Moreover, looking at her appearance, there was not the slightest change in her figure. She was still as thin and weak as before, looking as if she could not even stand a gust of wind. At this moment, she opened her clear purple eyes and looked at Di Shirtian with some apprehension. However, the original vigilance in her eyes had weakened a lot. You're called Zixian? Di Shirtian focused his attention on the little girl in front of him. Looking at her clear eyes, his voice couldn't help but become very gentle. Yes. Big brother, thank you for helping me chase away the bad guys. Zixian twitched her little nose and said, Zixian only ate a little bit of their food, and they wanted to catch me. In the past, I didn't need money to eat. They are all bad people, very, very bad people. I won't come again next time. I want to go to the 1,000 Demon City. You want to go to the 1,000 Demon City? Di Shirtian looked at her with interest. Yeah. Zixian nodded vigorously. Her eyes lit up as she said with yearning, Zixian has asked around. The 1,000 Demon City is amazing. There are many demon clans there. As long as Zixian can enter, no one will dare to bully me. There are bad guys outside. If it wasn't for Zixian's ferocity, she would have definitely been caught by them. As she spoke, she waved her small hand in the air, as if to increase her persuasion. She revealed a ferocious look. No one dares to bully you once you enter the Demon City? Di Shirtian heard this and looked at Zixien suspiciously. Yes, yes. Let me tell you, the demon emperor of the demon city is my big brother. As long as we can find the demon king, who would dare to bully Zixien? Zixien said with a face full of confidence. His expression was as if what she had said was true. He couldn't see any lies. Since you want to go to the 1,000-demon city, then follow me. When Indra heard this, he smiled indifferently and looked at her, revealing a sincere expression. Great, since Zixien came out, you have been the best to me. Zixien is willing to follow you. When Zixien heard this, her clear eyes revealed a look of joy. She had a look of joy. Well, let's go. You can call me Big Brother D in the future. Di Shirtian stood up calmly. Big Brother D, where are we going? Are we going to the 1,000-demon city? When Zixien heard this, she immediately ran over. Her small hands nervously grabbed Di Shirtian's lapel. Her eyes were pitiful, as if she was afraid of being abandoned. Let's go to shopping. Shopping? Big Brother D, are you going to get married? Zixien blinked and asked curiously. Di Shirtian's face was calm, and he didn't say much. He put down a few demon coins, left the elegant wind residence with Zixien, and went directly out of Tianji City. They came to an empty wasteland outside Tianji City. In the void above their heads, a huge crack suddenly appeared. Ong 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 ong! Rumble! From the crack, the primordial 9 dragons excitedly pulled the celestial emperor's chariot through the air. Behind them, pairs of blood-killing guards, full of murderous aura, followed closely. Shuesher, Bai Zian, Hu Gord, Xie Sanyang, and the others appeared around the chariot. Di Shirtian took a small step and appeared on the celestial emperor's chariot with Zixien. Wow, Big Brother D, is this your chariot? It's so beautiful. Zixien stood on the chariot, her eyes quickly looking around. She was full of curiosity and love for the celestial emperor's chariot. Sanyang, how is the preparation of the gift that I asked you to prepare? Di Shirtian looked up at Xie Sanyang and asked in a deep voice. There was a great pressure in his words. Reporting to your majesty, this subordinate has already selected the rare treasures in your collection according to your instructions. No matter how strict the Heavenly Sound tribe is, they can't find any flaws. Xie Sanyang's eyes were full of respect, but under that respect, there was an indescribable shock. That's right, it was precisely shock. When she entered Sakra's inner world to choose the betrothal gifts, when all kinds of treasures appeared before her eyes, she didn't come back to her senses for a full 15 minutes. The vast number of treasures almost made her faint on the spot. Most of them were demonic treasures and demonic weapons with demonic chi. The evil chi they exuded could almost crush one's spiritual soul. Very good. Let's go to the Heavenly Sound Valley. Di Shirtian nodded and gave the order without hesitation. Rumble! The primordial 9 dragons immediately began to pull the chariot toward the Heavenly Sound Valley. The blood-killing guards followed closely. Below them, a blood-red cloud condensed. Wherever it passed, it left a long trail of blood-red light behind. They did not conceal their aura at all. Wherever they went, the celestial emperor's chariot exuded a vast pressure that rolled over like a tidal wave. Countless creatures in this area were forced to kneel on the ground. A large number of cultivators felt as if there were countless mountains pressing down on them, and they were drenched in cold sweat. They looked at the celestial emperor's chariot in horror. The celestial emperor's chariot is the demon royal. The demon royal is traveling, and the blood-killing guards are following behind him. My goodness, why are they here? They are heading toward the Heavenly Sound Valley. Is the demon royal going to the Heavenly Sound tribe? I heard that the Heavenly Sound tribe has been in great trouble recently, and they have sealed the valley. I heard that there is a terrifying demon god sealed in the Heavenly Sound tribe. Maybe the demon god is trying to break the seal. The demon royal is close to Princess Katomi of the Qin family. Maybe he is going to help the Heavenly Sound tribe. In midair, there was a lingering discussion. Rumble! The celestial emperor's chariot broke through the air with great momentum and speed. It was so fast that it arrived in midair outside the heavenly sound valley in no time. Ding! 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 Above the heavenly sound valley, clouds of purple mist filled the entire ancient sky. Within the purple mist, there were countless mysterious musical notes flashing. As it continued to churn, one could faintly see that within the purple mist, there were numerous purple bamboo swords that were connected to a mysterious purple array diagram. Those purple bamboo swords were rapidly vibrating in a mysterious rhythm. They made crisp sword sounds. These sword chimes intertwined together to form mysterious musical notes. They turned into tiny purple musical notes and shuttled rapidly in the void. As each sword shuttled through the air, it made a strange sound. It covered the entire valley. In the valley, there was a terrifying demon chi that shot up to the sky. Countless demons let out ferocious roars and charged toward the array diagram. When they collided with the purple musical note swords, some of the condensed purple musical note swords were shattered by the devils, while some of the purple musical note swords directly pierced through the devils' bodies. Immediately, the terrifying purple swords shattered the devils into pieces. The swords had the power to destroy demons. The purple bamboo combat sword vibrated again and again, releasing countless purple musical notes. The demons and the array diagram clashed fiercely again and again. The entire valley seemed to have been isolated into another world. The valley had become a terrifying battlefield. Your Majesty, it's demon chi. It's a demon god. I remember that the Heavenly Sound tribe once suppressed a powerful demon emperor. Could it be that the demon emperor is about to break free? Huluzi's expression changed. He was extremely wary of the existence of the demon god. I'm afraid the Heavenly Sound tribe is in grave danger now. If I'm not wrong, this array diagram should be a treasure of the Heavenly Sound tribe, the Heavenly Sound million sword painting. They used this array diagram to seal off the valley. The situation inside must be extremely dangerous. Xie Sanyang's expression changed as she frowned. I, Di Shirtian, am the Heavenly Sound tribe's master of the array diagram. Please open a path for us to enter and provide assistance. Di Shirtian looked at the terrifying battle in front of him. His expression was still calm as he spoke to the array diagram calmly. However, in his heart, he was worried. Katomi, nothing must happen to you. Haven't you always wanted to be my wife? Today I've already come. Even if it's for our future happiness, nothing must happen to you. You are already my wife. Without my permission, nothing must happen to you. His heart was as cold as ice. Oh, it's your Majesty. It's great that your Majesty can come. Quick, quick, quick. 3 days ago, nearly 1,000 sky demon attacked the Heavenly Sound Valley. It was so sudden that the Heavenly Sound tribe suffered heavy losses. Now we can only rely on the array to fight against the Sky Demon. The Sky Demon has already rushed into the valley. They want to break the seal and rescue the Demon Emperor. An old and hurried voice came from the array diagram. He quickly explained everything that had happened. Ding ding ding. The purple bamboo combat swords started to operate quickly, making crisp sounds. A crack quickly appeared in the array diagram. Clang clang clang. The immemorial 9 dragons pulled the chariot into the passage and rushed into the valley. Behind them, the Blood Strike Guards, Schwescher and the others followed closely. Blood Strike Guards, listen to my orders. Eliminate the demons with all your might. Clean up the valley. Schwescher, Gord Z, follow me to the land of sealed demons. Di Shirtian extended his hand and with a clang, he pulled out the Devil Slayer war spear beside him and held it in his hand. To be continued. If you want to know what happens next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. I support the author and I support the original readers. Chapter 986. Demon Slayer. With the spear in his hand, Di Shirtian shook his arm, and the silver-white spear instantly slammed into the thick demonic fog. Countless demon slayer willpower soared into the sky from the spear, forming a torrent of demon slayer willpower that followed the spear, charging into the demonic fog with an indomitable will. Inside the demonic fog, there were a large number of demons. Each of these demons was quite terrifying and abnormally tenacious. They had escaped from the demon-subduing lake, and their combat strength was quite terrifying. They were evenly matched with Tian Yin's 10,000 swords. Each of them was equivalent to an ancient demon saint, and they were even more strange. However, under the demon slayer's spear, these demons were like tofu. Wherever it went, they were smashed into pieces. In the pitch-black demonic chi, a huge tunnel was blasted open. This tunnel was filled with the power of Demon Slayer, and when it collided with the demonic chi, it made a loud sizzling sound. Countless demons were smashed into pieces in an instant. Let's go! After the ancient battle, the immemorial 9 dragons had cooperated with Di Shirtian, and they had reached a tacit understanding. They pulled the chariot and rushed toward the tunnel that had been blasted open. At the same time, along with the chariot, the immemorial 9 dragons unleashed their power. Countless thunderbolts, storms, toxins, divine flames, and ice instantly bombarded the surrounding demonic fog like raindrop. Wherever they passed, a large number of demons were killed on the spot. Holding the blood gourd, Lu Shizhi emitted an endless devouring power, and the surrounding demonic chi, as well as a large number of demons, were sucked into the gourd. Xie San Yang's poison pearl shot out countless rays of poisonous light, and the demons that were enveloped by it melted and decayed like candles. The spear in Xue Shi's hand was like a dragon, drawing out countless bloody shadows, and wantonly killing the demons. Bai Zian was the most mysterious. Holding the green bamboo staff in her hand, she seemed to casually wave it around, and countless rays of green light covered a large area like a tide. Wherever it went, the demonic chi seemed to have met its nemesis, and was instantly purified. The demons within were like snowflakes exposed to the sun, and before they could even scream, they were completely destroyed. With one sweep, a large number of demons were destroyed. They followed behind the war chariot and charged into the depths of the valley. Katomi, nothing must happen to you. Otherwise, I will destroy the demon god continent even if I have to give it my all. The celestial emperor's chariot was extremely fast, but Di Shirtian felt that it was too slow. The worry in his heart grew stronger and stronger. Back then, Katomi was given the title of demon concubine. However, Katomi did not stay at Yaoqi because of her responsibilities. After the banquet, she returned to the Heavenly Sound Valley and continued to guard the demonic god seal. Back then, although Di Shirtian was reluctant, he knew that some responsibilities could not be avoided. They had to take responsibility for it. He couldn't stop them. The only way to free Katomi was to resolve the issue of the savage blood demon emperor. Otherwise, Katomi would never be able to completely get rid of the responsibility on her shoulders. This time, he came to Yaoping and to resolve the issue of the savage blood demon emperor so that Katomi could truly regain her freedom. However, he didn't expect such a huge change to happen before he even arrived. Lunatic D, quick, don't let the savage blood demon god break the seal. Back then, the savage blood demon god didn't fight in the chaos. Instead, he killed his way into the purple gold mainland. Not only did he cause a bloodbath, he even killed 2 unparalleled experts under the suppression of heaven and earth. If such a demonic god escapes the seal, he will be the most terrifying enemy in the future. Underworld's expression began to change. She hurriedly urged, that god of plagues has already escaped. If the demon god of crippled blood escapes again, the purple gold continent might not be able to withstand another great war. If he wants to break the seal, he has to ask for Ai's permission first. A cold look flashed across Di Shirtian's face as he exuded a chilling, killing intent. He knew it all too well. If the savage blood demon emperor broke the seal, he would be at the peak of the demon emperor level. He was only a step away from the demon ancestor. The first to bear the brunt of his attack would be the heavenly sound tribe that had suppressed him for countless years. If that was the case, Katomi would be the first to bear the brunt of his attack. With Katomi's character, she would never abandon the entire heavenly sound tribe and escape. She would definitely fight the savage blood demon emperor. With her cultivation, she wouldn't be a match for the savage blood demon emperor. The outcome was almost predictable. Therefore, no matter what the reason was, he would never allow the savage blood demon emperor to escape. Break. Sakura had already made up his mind, and he didn't have the slightest intention of showing any mercy to the demon gods. In ancient times, countless demon gods had died in his hands. His battle spear blasted out one after another, and a large number of demons were smashed into pieces and turned into powder. He quickly rushed towards the demon-subduing lake. Just as he was about to reach the demon-subduing lake, a gigantic pitch-black demonic sword suddenly flashed out of the vast demonic fog and quickly slashed towards Di-Shirtion. The demonic sword was extremely huge. It was at least 10,000 feet long. Countless demonic gods with black wings appeared on the demonic sword. These demonic gods all exuded a depraved aura. They were chanting the praises of depravity. It was as if they were chanting the beauty of depravity and the essence of depravity. Countless living beings were lured into depravity and fell into the demonic domain. They all obtained endless demonic god power in depravity and gained eternal life in depravity. This was the true meaning of depravity and eternal life. This was the fallen demonic sword. Everywhere the demonic sword went, the boundless fallen demonic domain appeared. No power could stop the mighty power of depravity. Almost instantly, the demonic sword slashed down with boundless pressure. Even the space was torn apart by the demonic sword. Demon Slayer! The figure of the demonic sword filled the eyes of Shueisha and the others. Facing the demonic sword, they actually had an illusion that they could not stop it. They only felt that their minds were being lured into depravity and were constantly struggling under the temptation. It was as if there were countless demonic gods in their minds constantly chanting the beautiful song of depravity. However, just as the fallen demonic sword was about to collide with the heavenly emperor's canopy, Di-Shirtion's eyes suddenly shot out a dazzling light. The battle spear shot out like lightning. Under the infusion of a vast amount of power, the entire battle spear turned into a terrifying demonic slayer torrent. The current him, even if he did not use the 9 demonic slayer strikes, just his own strength was enough to blast out a peerless powerhouse's battle prowess. Bang! The battle spear and the demonic sword collided violently. On the spot, the demonic slayer will and the fallen will clashed violently. The two torrents collided. They almost pierced through the sun and moon. The fallen will gathered a torrent of 80,000 feet wide, but the demonic slayer will was 100,000 feet wide. The collision only lasted for a moment. Immediately, the fallen will was defeated. Rumble. A large amount of demonic fog was shattered into pieces. The demonic fog in a radius of 100,000 feet was swept away, revealing the scene inside. A huge demonic god stood in midair. 12 pairs of sky demon wings covered the entire void. Inside each fallen demonic feather, there were countless demonic gods worshipping, chanting the song of eternal depravity. Looking at its appearance, it was the 7 Knights' demonic sovereign. No, that's not right. Back then, he had 10 pairs of wings. Now there were 12 pairs. This was not the 7 Knights' demonic sovereign, but the 7 Knights' demonic emperor. Above the 7 Knights' demonic emperor, the void twisted strangely. In the distortion, countless pitch-black demonic fog spewed out of nowhere. The demonic fog was the demonic chi that filled the entire valley. At the same time, countless demons appeared. In the demonic fog, a pitch-black, ancient, and vast demonic gate appeared out of thin air. This demonic gate seemed to be the origin of all demons. Countless demonic voices reverberated violently. Demonic, demonic, demon, those who believe in the demonic Tao will obtain eternal life. The demonic Tao will prosper forever and never be destroyed. Enter my demonic Tao and you will have eternal life. Countless demonic sounds entered everyone's ears, bringing with them a terrifying demonic power. Under the influence of these demonic sounds, anyone who heard them would feel their hearts tremble. They would even have the faint thought of joining the demonic Tao. Their Taoist heart would be shaken. A vast oppressive aura gushed out of the demonic gate like tidal waves. The demonic gate was tightly shut. Countless strange demonic runes covered every inch of the ancient gate, condensing into ferocious demonic gods. These demonic gods were all different, and there were a total of 3,000 of them. They were lifelike. On each demonic god, there was a different and terrifying demonic aura. It was as though they contained the Taos of 3,000 demonic gods. It was as though this demonic gate was the origin of all demons in the world. It contained boundless demonic Tao. It naturally emitted a supreme oppressive aura that could suppress the world. The void around the demonic gate was being destroyed inch by inch, constantly collapsing. It was exceptionally terrifying. Ancient demonic gate. 7 Knights Demonic Emperor, Ancient Demonic Gate. You have already become a demonic emperor. Di Shirtion stared coldly at the 7 Knights Demonic Emperor, who was blocking in front of him. He knew clearly that the 7 Knights Demonic Emperor had indeed become a demonic emperor, and the depraved intent emitted from his body couldn't be fake. However, even if he did, he had just stepped into the demonic emperor realm. However, when the eternal demon gate above his head worked together, the battle prowess he could unleash was extremely terrifying. Demon Emperor, with me here today, you can forget about taking a step forward and destroying the extra blood Demon Emperor's plan to escape. Back then in the land of exile, you relied on the supreme divine weapon, and I admit that I am inferior to you. However, now that I have become a demonic emperor, and have the ancient demonic gate in my hands, you can forget about taking a step forward. The 7 Knights Demonic Emperor's eyes shone with a depraved divine radiance. Any cultivator who has been surpassed by I can forget about having the chance to defeat me. You are no exception. Since you don't want to move aside, you shall die. So what if you have become a demonic emperor? Slay the demons. Di Shirtian's arm spewed out a vast amount of power, which was injected into the battle spear. The ancient chariot pulled by the 9 dragons was accompanied by countless thunderbolts, storms, poison, and ice. It made him look like an emperor that had existed since ancient times. Slay the demons! Slay the demons! The battle spear blasted out, turning into a demon-slaying torrent. Countless living beings released waves of demon-slaying intent, which converged into a torrent. It roared like a furious dragon as it charged towards the 7 Knights Demonic Emperor. If you want to know what happened next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 987. Ancient Demon Gate, become one with me, lend me your demonic power. Fallen eternal life. All living beings will have eternal life in the fall. I am the most supreme fallen emperor since ancient times. 7 Knights. The 7 Knights Demon Emperor's pupils contracted violently. He could clearly feel the grand force emitted from the Demon Slayer battle spear. The Demon Slayer will contain a terrifying grand force that could destroy some demon gods. It had a natural suppressive effect on demon gods, as if they were fated enemies. If there was a demon god, there would be no demon god. Once they collided, it was either you die or I live. There was no other outcome. Inside, there was a terrifying suppression on the power of demon gods. The 7 Knights Demon Emperor could faintly feel that his immortal demon soul seemed to emit a fearful aura, as if it was about to tremble. But immediately it showed a will of anger. He was a demon emperor, how could he show fear? He immediately roared. Suddenly, the ancient demon gate above his head shook violently, spewing out a vast amount of demonic power, crazily pouring into Seven Knights' body. At the same time, an ancient will descended on his body. Immediately, it collided with his fallen eternal life will. Fallen eternal life. The fallen demon's sword was like the judgment demon's sword that had existed since ancient times. It instantly swung out from behind, forming a perfect arc of light in midair. In the arc of light, countless figures of fallen demon gods appeared. The hymns of praise from their mouths filled the vast void. It was as if the entire void had fallen along with them. They became one with it. Rumble! The war spear and the demon sword collided once again, the tip of the spear and the blade of the sword colliding in a strange manner. The surrounding space was collapsing at a speed visible to the naked eye. It was like boiling water, exploding all of a sudden. Bang! Around the war spear and the demon sword, countless living beings who were chanting the demon slayer war cry advanced dauntlessly, killing countless fallen demon gods like a tide. However, although the living beings were vast, each of the fallen demon gods exuded an ancient and eternal aura, and their combat strength was terrifying. They continued to move unhindered in the demon slayer will. They kept colliding. They actually had the upper hand. With a loud boom, the war spear was broken by the demon sword. Second devil slayer strike. When Tion saw this, his heart trembled, but his expression did not change. He took the opportunity to put away the battle spear, and the demon-slaying power in the battle spear flowed into his body. It quickly circulated around his body and poured back into the battle spear. The power of the devil slayer was instantly superimposed. The spear once again struck towards the fallen demon's sword. Boom! This attack seemed to contain the power of two peerless experts at the same time. The power of the demon slayer was even more explosive. Tion had proven his Tao through strength. His strength was so strong that it could be said that he was unrivaled in the current world. The tyrannical power smashed into the fallen demon's sword like it was crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. The fallen demon's sword was defeated on the spot and was forced to retreat. Together with the Seven Knights demon emperor's massive body, the space behind him was destroyed as he was pushed back. Fall apart into a million pieces. What kind of battle technique is this? I am a demon god, and demon gods are born with a monstrous divine power that surpasses any living being. My body is strong, but your strength is actually stronger than mine. You actually have a peerless battle strength that is comparable to a peerless demon emperor. Could it be that you have also broken through and become a demon god? No, your primordial spirit clearly does not have an immortal aura. You still have not formed an immortal primordial spirit, but you have such battle strength. Could it be that you have proven your Tao through strength? How is this possible? Why did you not have a heavenly omen on the purple gold continent when you proved your Tao through strength? Could it be that you did not prove your Tao on the purple gold continent? The Seven Knights demon emperor was greatly shocked. He had seen Tion in the demon suppression valley before. At that time, he was clearly just an ancient heavenly demon. Although his battle strength was heaven-defying, it was not heaven-defying to this extent. This was clearly proving his Tao through strength. His battle strength was comparable to a peerless power with every move. So what if you know? Whoever dares to stop me, I will kill them. Tion's battle intent soared to the heavens. His body spat out dragon-like essence, and there seemed to be countless dragons and tigers leaping above his head. The roars of tigers and dragons could be heard. 3 Devil Slayer strikes. The Devil Slayer war spear swung out again. At the same time, the Celestial Emperor's chariot continued to charge forward with boundless momentum, making the Devil Slayer spear even more terrifying. An attack was launched towards the Seven-Knight Demon Emperor. The seven-night demon emperor's expression changed as he felt the monstrous power contained within the battle spear. Without even thinking, the 12 pairs of wings behind him suddenly burst out with boundless demonic light. Clang! Clang! Strand after strand of demonic feathers detached from the wings, transforming into pitch-black demonic swords. These demonic swords formed hundreds of millions of sword lights that converged into a tidal wave. He faced the Devil Punisher battle spear head-on, exuding a supreme killing intent. Countless streams of sword chi were brewing. Boom! Boom! The spear collided with the torrent of demonic swords. The spear was incomparably sharp and pierced through the torrent of demonic swords. The battle spear trembled. Countless spear lights shot out, shattering the demonic sword. However, the power in the battle spear was no longer able to continue killing. Seven-Night Demon Emperor, even if you become a demon emperor, you will still be trampled under my feet. I have already said that anyone who is surpassed by me, whether it is a cultivator or a demon god, from now on, can forget about catching up to me and defeating me. I am the ruler of this world, the emperor of all eternity. Now, feel I's 9 Devil Slayer strikes. Fourth strike. Rumble. Tion raised his arm and immediately blasted out the 4 Devil Slayer strike. With this strike, all the divine radiance was retracted. The original Devil Slayer torrent all returned to the battle spear. The original creatures suddenly all turned into Tian's appearance. It was as if he had completely grasped the will of the Devil Slayer, causing the will of the battle spear to become even more turbulent and tyrannical. Bang! With his current battle strength, the 9 Devil Slayer strikes could even pierce through the primal chaos. When he used the 4th strike, it had already begun to return to its original state. The Seven-Night Demon Emperor felt the aura of death and instinctively waved the fallen demon's sword to meet the battle spear. Gotcha! The two collided. The demon's sword was sent flying, and sinister cracks appeared on the battle sword. The fallen demon's sword was almost shattered into pieces. However, the battle spear was still heading straight for the demon emperor. The wings behind the demon emperor immediately wrapped around his body. The battle spear smashed into the wings. The wings emitted an extremely strong defensive power, but 10 pairs of wings were still pierced through by the battle spear. The pitch-black demonic blood that carried the aura of depravity sprinkled down like rain. Demon Emperor, I will definitely not lose to you. Ancient demon sect, combined to suppress demons. The Seven-Night Demon Emperor's demonic hair danced crazily, and a deranged expression appeared on his face. The demonic blood at the corner of his mouth made him look even more ferocious. He roared. He was a demon emperor, and his bloodline was noble. How could he be willing to be suppressed by Tian and trampled under his feet? Without even thinking, he immediately unleashed his most powerful divine ability. In his body, a vast amount of depraved demonic energy poured into the ancient demon sect. Buzz! The ancient demon sect that emitted an ancient aura suddenly shook. The ancient demonic patterns on the demon sect seemed to have a life of their own. They quickly emitted a demonic glow and intertwined with each other. They formed a mysterious demonic diagram, and the demon sect that had existed since ancient times suddenly opened, revealing the endless darkness within the demon sect. It was a terrifying scene. The demon sect was incomparably deep, as if it wanted to swallow the entire world. There was an extremely terrifying aura inside. Clang, clang, clang. The endless dark demonic chi within the demonic gate started to churn violently and intertwined with each other. Countless demonic runes charged into the gate. Immediately, numerous pitch-black demonic weapons were formed at a speed that was visible to the naked eye. Suddenly, 108 ancient demonic weapons were spat out. Dong dong dong! Within the demon sect, loud heartbeats could be heard. That sound seemed to be able to cause the surrounding space to vibrate violently with the heartbeat. When the demons in the valley heard the heartbeats, all of them became even more ferocious, and their fighting strength skyrocketed. The world within the ancient demon gate distorted as a gigantic figure appeared. That demonic figure was extremely huge. It was at least 10,000 feet tall. However, this demon god was still in a deep sleep. His sleeping posture was very strange, as if he was a fetus in his mother's womb. His entire body was curled up and hugged together. His hands were hugging his legs. It was like he was in his mother's womb. This demon god had a pair of pitch-black demonic horns on his head that resembled those of a bull. His body was densely packed with golden scales that covered every inch of his skin. On every single scale there were countless mysterious demonic patterns. In front of him, there was a blood-red war flag. On the war flag, there were demonic weapons that were shining continuously. This was the Saint Demon Emperor of the demon sect. Without hesitation, the 7 Knights Demon Emperor rushed into the demon sect. Instantly, he merged with the Saint Demon Emperor and became one with him. Clang clang. As soon as they merged, the sleeping demon god immediately woke up. His closed eyes opened instantly. The moment he opened his eyes, 2 killing sounds that resembled demonic weapons being unsheathed could be heard. 2 blood-red demonic lights shot out thousands of feet away. In his eyes there was a ferocious look. He stretched out his demonic body and grabbed the blood-red war flag beside him. In the demon sect, he stood tall. Boom boom boom. The demon sect seemed to have woken up from its deep sleep. The space outside the demon sect was crushed countless times. Ancient demon sect, suppress the demon emperor. The voice that came out of the Saint Demon Emperor's mouth was actually the 7 Knights Demon Emperors. He had merged with the Saint Demon Emperor and was controlling his demonic body. He had complete control over the demon sect. Outside the demon sect, demonic aura spewed out. It formed many peerless demonic weapons. They accompanied the demon sect. Suppress. The demon sect flew up into the sky and suppressed Tion directly, wanting to kill him directly. The power that was released from the demon sect was actually not inferior to a supreme artifact's terrifying aura. It seemed to be able to suppress ancient times. It was a deterrent to all the worlds. Under this demonic sect, even a peerless expert would be crushed into pieces. If you want to know what happened next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 989. I wrote it in a hurry. I can't take it anymore. I'll take a nap and write again tomorrow. Rumble. The 7 Knights Demon Emperor merged with the ancient demon gate. At this moment, he was almost invincible. The ancient demon gate exuded a majestic force that could suppress the ancient times. It was as if this was the heaven and earth demon gate that was above the myriad of worlds. It came crashing down on Tion. Wherever it went, the boundless demonic aura came crashing down on him like a tidal wave. The void around him trembled violently. The void was broken. The heavenly emperor's canopy emitted a rainbow light to defend against the demonic aura. However, the demonic weapons from the ancient demon gate broke the canopy. The ancient demon gate crashed into the heavenly emperor's chariot. Poof! The immemorial 9 dragons roared in anger. They wanted to pull the chariot up, but they were sent flying by the power of the ancient demon gate. The heavenly emperor's chariot shook violently. Waves of domineering demonic aura flowed through the chariot and into Tion's body. Even though his physical body had reached an unbelievable level, he could not help but feel his blood boiling. He spat out a mouthful of purplish gold blood. The heavenly emperor's chariot fell to the ground from the impact. The demon god that stood tall in the ancient demon gate was truly like an invincible son of heaven. Even if you're really the emperor, I will drag you down from your high horse. Tion's expression was solemn. However, he was not at a disadvantage. He snorted coldly and his eyes were unusually sharp. He shouted, "Extreme Emperor Talisman, source of power, infuse it into the battle spear." 9 Demon Slayer strikes. Boom, boom, boom. His right arm exuded boundless energy. Under his skin, the 129,600 extreme Emperor talismans spewed out a majestic force that was as vast as the ocean and infused it into the battle spear. The battle spear did not stop attacking the ancient demon gate again and again. First Demon Slayer strike. Second strike. Third strike. Fourth strike. Fifth strike. The devil-slaying might within the battle spear stacked on top of each other, using his own body as a medium. In an instant, the fifth strike of the Devil Slayer's strike was executed consecutively. Within the battle spear, all the devil-slaying wills were completely condensed into one, and the battle spear returned to its original state, slamming into the ancient devil gate as though it was nothing. Bang! The eternal demon gate spat out countless demon soldiers. The blood-red war flag in the hands of the sage demon son of heaven also slashed towards the battle spear. With a wave of the war flag, the void was about to twist and turn. It was as if it could break through the heavens. The demon Punisher war spear looked simple and unadorned, but wherever it passed, everything it touched would crumble at a speed visible to the naked eye. Along the way, the Demon Punisher war spear was unstoppable. The Demon Punisher war spear collided with the blood-red war flag. Countless blood-red devil soldiers appeared from the blood-red war flag, and those devil soldiers sliced through the void. He wanted to cut the spear in half. However, with a shake of the battle spear, the surrounding demonic soldiers were shattered by an unparalleled force. Crack! The blood-red war flag was in a fierce stalemate. The battle spear struck the surface of the flag, and immediately, a ferocious hole was pierced through the flag. It crashed onto the demon gate. The battle spear continued slamming into the ancient devil gate, and the immense force from the battle spear clashed violently with the ancient devil gate. However, in just an instant, the ancient devil gate was sent flying by the battle spear. Rumble! The void behind the ancient devil gate crumbled, and countless earth, fire, water, and wind gushed out like a tidal wave. The void within a radius of a few thousand miles was turned into a horrifying zone of destruction. On the ancient devil gate, terrifying spiderweb-like cracks appeared, and they spread out in all directions at a speed visible to the naked eye. Endless demonic chi leaked out from the demon gate, and a series of horrifying shrieks could be heard. Roar! The sage demon emperor let out a horrifying howl, and there was a look of disbelief in his voice. Impossible! I have fused with the sage demon emperor and the ancient devil gate. My fighting strength is comparable to that of an unparalleled demon emperor at the pinnacle. With the ancient devil gate, I can even suppress a demon emperor at the pinnacle. How can you break through my demon gate? How can you cause such terrifying cracks to appear on the ancient devil gate? Your fighting strength is close to that of a ruler, close to that of a demon ancestor. From the mouth of the 7 Knights demon emperor, a look of disbelief could be seen. He simply couldn't accept that Sakura could suddenly unleash such a terrifying might. Even with his mental fortitude, he was still in disbelief. Humph! Just because you haven't seen it before doesn't mean that there isn't such a heaven-defying expert in this world. Even if you have the ancient devil gate, as long as you stand in my way, I will still smash you into pieces. Today I will kill any god or Buddha that stands in my way. Demon Slayer, kill! Di Shirtion stepped on the Celestial Emperor's war chariot, and the immemorial 9 dragons let out a furious roar. 9 streams of immemorial dragon essence shot out from their bodies and gathered above the war chariot. They intertwined with each other and spun rapidly in a mysterious trajectory, forming a gigantic 9-colored millstone. This millstone looked a little illusory, but the 9 immemorial dragons on it were still vivid and lifelike. Coiling Dragon World Devastating Formation. The immemorial 9 dragons used their own essence to form the destructive Coiling Dragon World Devastating Millstone. The millstone was filled with a destructive aura and the will to destroy the world. It was the source of all disasters. Above it, the same world-destroying power erupted. They were thoroughly enraged by the ancient demon gate. It erupted with world-destroying power. Ong 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 ong! The world obliteration millstone let out a draconic roar filled with destructive aura as it slammed into the ancient demon gate. When the millstone collided with the demon gate, countless apocalyptic storms collided violently with the demon soldiers in the demon gate. Those demon weapons were crushed into pieces. They collapsed on the spot. During the collision, the demon gate retreated. Sixth Devil Slayer strike. A boundless might gushed out from Sakra's arm, turning his entire arm into a purplish-golden glaze. On the surface of his arm, innumerable Emperor talismans appeared, emitting a sense of boundless power. The immense power of the Devil Slayer actually caused sinister cracks to appear on his arm. The power of the Devil Slayer was so strong that even his demonic body was unable to withstand it. Bang! Just as the ancient demon gate was sent flying by the world obliteration millstone, the Demon Slayer War Spear appeared in front of the demon gate at an alarming speed. The War Spear struck the ancient demon gate squarely. The ancient War Spear pierced through the demon gate in an instant. The pitch-black vortex that was emitted from the demon gate was unable to devour or block the sharpness of the War Spear. The power contained within the War Spear had already reached a state where it could not be destroyed. Demon Emperor, wait till the day my demonic arts are perfected. I will definitely come and look for you again. I will definitely not let you suppress me. If not for the fact that my ancient demon gate has yet to be perfected and the sage demon Heaven's Son has yet to fully awaken, I would definitely not be inferior to you today. The next time we meet, it will be your death date. The silver-white body of the Demon Slayer War Spear pierced into the chest of the sage demon Heaven's Son, who was still in the demon gate. Countless demon-slaying wills burst out, but the ancient demon gate continued to emit boundless devouring power. It was as though there were countless black holes and demonic regions within. Large amounts of demon-slaying wills were devoured and destroyed. From the mouth of the sage demon Heaven's Son came the voice of the 7 Knights Demon Emperor. It was cold, but there was a hint of unwillingness in it. He shouted coldly, "Demon Emperor, today you have stopped me from saving the Demon Emperor. However, the Demon Emperor Senior is not someone you can stop. Just wait for the fury of the Demon Emperor Senior. The God of Plagues wants me to pass on a message to you. In the future, your demon city will not be spared. Not a single blade of grass will be spared. From today onwards, your demon race will never have a day of peace." Countless pure and mysterious demonic chi gushed out from the ancient demon gate. In the blink of an eye, cracks were healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The void around the demon gate suddenly distorted. It emitted a mysterious power. Whoosh! The ancient demon gate seemed to have turned illusory all of a sudden. Along with the distortion of space, a pitch-black beam of light flashed before it disappeared mysteriously in midair. It was as though it had never existed. It disappeared without a trace. The speed of its escape was so fast that even Di Shirtion could not stop it. Its escape was simply too strange. Demon Emperor Crippled Blood, God of Plagues? You want my demon city to be spared? A cold glint flashed across Di Shirtion's eyes. The cold glint was filled with killing intent. He said coldly, "Humph, God of Plagues, your original body is suppressed by me. You are just a mere clone that escaped and you want to stir up trouble? You think too highly of yourself. Wait until I figure out your whereabouts, then I will crush you to smithereens. Do you really think that I am still the same as before? If I become an emperor, I will bring endless death and slaughter to all my enemies in the past. Hurry to the demon-subduing lake." Di Shirtion did not chase after the 7 Knights Demon Emperor. If he wanted to, he might be able to catch up with him. However, what he was most concerned about now was Kotomi's safety and the Demon Emperor Crippled Blood's matter. These two matters were the top priority. Compared to Kotomi's life, the the Seven Knights' demon emperor was just an insignificant dung beetle. Rumble! The celestial emperor's war chariot sped towards the demon-subduing lake. Above the war chariot, the obliterating millstone spun. 9 dragons swam around, exuding a destructive aura of disaster. In the blink of an eye, they appeared outside the lake. Ding dong, ding dong. As soon as they got close to the demon-subduing lake, they immediately heard a clear and melodious sound from the air above the lake. It was filled with the desire to purify and destroy demons. In the air, they intertwined to form a perfect movement. The sound of the guqin was filled with endless life energy. It represented the boundless aura of life. It created a natural and harmonious area in the valley that was filled with death. It emitted a green sound wave that spread in all directions. All the demonic qi in the area was purified by the sound of the guqin at an astonishing speed. Countless demons were glowing with divine light. All the demonic qi was filled with the desire to live. It was unusually sacred. A huge purple-gold Bodhi tree appeared out of thin air. On the Bodhi tree, it drifted with the wind, exuding a clear and melodious sound. It contained the power to subdue demons. The demons in the surroundings were purified without restraint, obliterating them. This is the heart-cleansing Bodhi song. The originally nervous expression on Sakra's face eased slightly. To be continued. If you want to know what happened next, please go to www.chidian.com. I support the author, I support the original reading. Chapter 990. I just came back from Shaman and immediately finished writing a chapter. This is the second update. There is one more chapter after that, so it counts as the third update. However, I took leave yesterday, so the updates for the past 2 days are just supplementary chapters. There will be another 3 chapters tomorrow to make up for what I owe. The heart-cleansing Bodhi song was an immortal song that could subdue demons. The Bodhi tree had a pure and untainted meaning in the world, and had a strong suppressive power against evil spirits. Any evil spirit that approached the Bodhi tree would be instantly purified and cleansed. This song was an immortal song composed according to the charm of the Bodhi tree. Now this song was played. In the sky above the demon-subduing lake, a huge purple-gold Bodhi tree appeared. This Bodhi tree was tens of thousands of feet tall, and its branches were abnormally lush. They stretched out in all directions and covered a large area of the void. Every leaf on the tree was in the form of various living beings, and they formed various mysterious seals on their bodies. They were either sitting cross-legged in meditation or deriving the trajectory of the heavenly Tao. They exuded a subtle and mysterious aura. The leaves moved without wind and naturally emitted a faint Bodhi sound. Sound impersonation. This is the music played by the verdant zither. I didn't expect Katomi's musical realm to have reached such an unbelievable level. She's even better than me. When Dishur Tian heard the zither music, the huge stone that was originally pressing down on his heart was finally put down temporarily. In the zither music, he could hear a kind of life aura contained within. The body of the verdant zither was refined from a branch from the tree of life, and it naturally nurtured life Tao patterns. It naturally had boundless life force. Look, your concubine Zither is fighting the demon god with the help of the Heavenly Note tribe's experts and the 8 trigrams Heavenly Note demon locking formation. However, it seems like they won't be able to hold on much longer. The Heavenly Note tribe is like the wine god tribe in the past. They are also the guardian tribes of the origin world. Back then, the wine god tribe was bewitched and destroyed. The Heavenly Note tribe has been suppressing the demon emperor for generations, and their cultivation is constantly in a stalemate with the demon emperor. I'm afraid they are already at the end of their rope. They won't be able to hold on for long. Dark scanned the surroundings and saw the scene in Fiend-subduing lake. The entire demon-subduing lake was filled with rolling demonic qi. Within the demonic qi, there were countless primordial demons. Each of the demons was extremely ferocious. They let out terrifying demonic roars as they performed all sorts of shocking demonic skills, causing the void to shake. There were 8 bronze pillars around the lake. A huge 8 trigrams diagram appeared out of thin air above the lake. It radiated with countless strands of resplendent, golden light as it constantly revolved. It seemed to connect with the surroundings, becoming one with the world. Under the illumination of the 8 trigrams, the terrifying demonic chi and the countless archaic demons hidden within the demonic chi actually hissed as water and fire collided with each other. However, the Bodhi tree's Bodhi divine light and Bodhi music fused with it, giving the divine light a terrifying demon-destroying power. They constantly destroyed each other. There were 8 huge bronze pillars, each of which was 90 feet tall. Countless mysterious talismans were engraved on them. The talismans revolved around the bronze pillars, sealing the entire lake. These 8 bronze pillars were the demon sealing pillars. However, at this moment, terrifying cracks appeared on the 8 demon sealing pillars at the same time. The divine light on the pillars dimmed, and the cracks continued to expand as if they were going to cover the entire pillars. This was where the demonic chi was leaking out from. On the 8 trigrams diagram, Katomi, Qin Buchuan, Katomi's father, Qin Xian, as well as the various elders and clansmen of the Heavenly Sound clan, such as the 3 elders of the Shao clan, the 7 sages of the Bamboo clan, the 4 elders of the Qin clan, and more than 100 ancient powerhouses of the Heavenly Sound clan were all standing on the illusory 8 trigrams diagram in midair. Their faces were extremely pale. Without hesitation, they poured all of their dermic powers into Katomi, who was sitting in the center of the 8 trigrams diagram and wearing a simple white robe. Katomi's cultivation and dermic powers were forcefully raised to the level of an unparalleled powerhouse. She temporarily unleashed her unparalleled power. She played the zither, and waves of sound waves continuously poured into the 8 trigrams heavenly sound demon subduing formation. Below, countless demonic chi transformed into demonic soldiers and demonic gods, crazily attacking the 8 trigrams demon subduing formation. They attacked the gigantic 8 trigrams diagram. Every time they collided, the 8 trigrams diagram would shake violently. Even the surrounding void was shaking violently, as if it was going to collapse at any time. Every time the 8 trigrams diagram shook, Katomi and the Heavenly Sound clan powerhouses behind her would tremble continuously. Gradually, their faces became paler and paler. There was a trace of blood at the corner of Katomi's mouth, and there was blood flowing down continuously. Her face was as pale as a sheet of white paper, and all 10 of her fingers were pale. However, she still appeared to be unusually calm. "Oh no!" When Di Shirtian saw this, his expression changed. He immediately shouted, "Xian, get out of the way. I'll hold them off here." Obliterating millstone, suppress the 8 trigrams diagram and destroy all demons. Seeing Katomi in such a state, Di Shirtian did not hesitate. He raised his eyebrows, and a monstrous aura exuded from between his brows. The Celestial Emperor's war chariot exploded with Boundless Emperor's aura. It broke through the void and appeared above the gigantic 8 trigrams diagram. The obliterating millstone, which was formed by the primordial 9 dragons, emitted a 9-colored divine light and suppressed the 8 trigrams diagram. Streaks of obliterating calamities rushed into the demon-subduing lake. Wherever they went, a large number of demons were crushed by the obliterating power. It stopped the demonic flames of the demons. At the same time, one could clearly see a gigantic tiger-shaped deity statue standing on the surface of the lake. The deity statue emitted a faint divine light, which prevented the surrounding demons from getting close. However, under the attacks of the demons, hideous cracks appeared on the deity statue. Above the deity statue, there was a blood-red Sarira bead that was spinning. It emitted traces of bloody light that was filled with a foul stench. It sealed the surrounding space with a foul and evil power. He actually used foul blood to seal the deity statue, sealing the connection between the deity statue and I's totem incense power. Once the deity statue's divine power is depleted, it cannot be replenished. As a result, it can no longer seal the Demon Emperor. What a brilliant technique! The Seven-Night Demon Emperor has indeed made the most thorough preparations for coming to rescue me. At a glance, Sakura immediately realized that there was something fishy hidden in this. Big Brother D, you're finally here. Kotomi, who had been sitting on the 8 trigrams diagram, saw D. Shirtion appear out of nowhere and rush in front of her. Her originally pale face could not help but reveal a strange flush. Her eyes revealed a look of pleasant surprise. She could not help but cry out, and her hand that was playing the zither involuntarily stopped. The zither music came to a halt. Her body seemed to have lost all strength in an instant, and her eyes revealed an unconcealable fatigue. Don't worry, I'm here. Have a good rest first. Zixien, help me take care of your sister Kotomi. Seeing Kotomi's tired look, D. Shirtion could not help but feel pain and anger in his heart. He waved his hand and pulled Kotomi into the Heavenly Emperor's war chariot. He then said to Zixien, who was behind him, to send Kotomi into the chariot. Big Brother D, don't worry. Zixien is very ferocious. I will definitely protect Sister Kotomi. Big Brother D, Zixien believes that you can definitely defeat these hateful demons. Zixien's head stretched out from the chariot, revealing a look that said, Don't worry, I'm very ferocious. She then helped to take care of Kotomi. Demon Emperor, you have to be careful. Previously, there were demon gods that infiltrated and rushed into the seal. With their help, the crippled blood demon emperor has most likely begun to recover his battle strength. This demon emperor is incomparably ferocious, and his battle strength is extremely tyrannical. In the ancient times, he was a terrifying existence that killed unparalleled experts. I don't want my daughter to regret her life. She will die for you. Qin Xian, who used to be full of dignity, looked exhausted at this moment. He hurriedly reminded. When Di Shirtion heard this, he only glanced at Qin Xian and nodded slightly. He did not say much. He looked at the terrifying whirlpool that appeared in the lake. The whirlpool was pitch black, and countless pure demonic chi was spewing out endlessly. Vaguely, one could hear the roars of demons coming from the whirlpool. Kill! Sakura shouted at the 9 primordial dragons. Instantly, the Celestial Emperor's war chariot emitted a dazzling purple-gold light. Faintly, above the war chariot, an illusory figure of a gigantic emperor was faintly discernible. With each battle, the Emperor's will in the Heavenly Emperor's war chariot began to gather and recover. With each battle, the tacit understanding between him and the war chariot would increase tremendously. The Emperor's aura from the war chariot would also increase continuously. Rumble! The Heavenly Emperor's war chariot charged straight into the whirlpool that appeared in the devil-subduing lake without any intention of avoiding it. Wherever it passed, the demonic chi that surged over would be shattered and dispersed. The whirlpool seemed to be a path to the devil's domain. As soon as it charged in, countless demonic chi gathered and attacked the war chariot. The vast aura wanted to crush the war chariot, but it could not stop the war chariot's advance. It charged straight through the whirlpool, tearing it apart and charging in. From the outside, it looked like Di Shirtion was driving the Heavenly Emperor's war chariot into the whirlpool. The whirlpool was extremely deep, and it emitted a devouring force that sucked him in along with the war chariot. Not good! Qin Xian's expression changed slightly, and he said with an ugly expression, The devil-subduing lake has been suppressing the crippled blood demon emperor since ancient times. This demon emperor has always been living here, and he has already turned the entire lake into a terrifying devil's domain. Being in the demonic area was equivalent to being in his inner world. His battle prowess would increase exponentially. He's too reckless to go in so rashly. There was a worried look in his eyes. Big Brother, in my opinion, this is the Emperor's decisiveness. Once he has made up his mind, he will press forward. He will fight without hesitation. Qin Buchuan shook his head and said in a deep voice, "Rumble!" Di Shirtian drove the war chariot and charged into the whirlpool. The scenery in front of him suddenly changed, and in the blink of an eye, he appeared in a completely different area. Demon Emperor Di Shirtian, you still dare to appear in front of me. Today this emperor will devour you alive. A cruel demonic roar filled the entire void. In the voice, there was a hint of hatred in the eyes of an enemy meeting. To be continued. If you want to know what happens next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. I support the author and I support the original readers. Chapter 991. Third update. There was a chilling killing intent in that demonic roar. That voice did not belong to a man, but to a cold and delicate voice. The voice was filled with excitement and anger when enemies met, as well as the thrill of being able to kill their enemies. It was a cruel demonic death, and the smell of blood permeated one's mind. You are the demon emperor crippled blood. Indra quickly followed the voice and swept his gaze over. Outside of him, there was a sea of blood. Within this sea of blood, waves of blood constantly surged and soared into the sky. Within every wave of blood, there was a large number of devils, giving birth to devil gods with blood-red wings. These demon gods were wrapped in blood-red lotuses, and with the help of the blood-red lotuses, they were constantly absorbing the infinite power contained in the sea of blood around them. They were getting stronger almost every moment. The bodies of these demon gods exuded a cold, cruel, and boundless aura of slaughter. They were simply machines that only knew how to kill. There were close to 100,000 such demon gods. Looking at how they were constantly growing stronger, it was likely that when they woke up and grew up, they would immediately become terrifying experts of the heavenly demon realm. If they were released, even heaven and earth would be swept into a rain of blood, and there would be no peace for all living beings in heaven and earth. What surprised Di Shirtian the most was that in front of him, there was a beautiful body that all the demon gods could not hide. In the sea of blood, there was a blood-red lotus platform that was close to 100,000 feet tall. This lotus platform had 9 grades, and it exuded a perfect aura, as if it was connected to endless killing and endless blood. On the surface of the blood-red lotus, there were blood-red petals that were constantly blooming, withering, disappearing, and being born again. The cycle was endless and continuous. On the blood-red lotus, there was a woman with an almost perfect figure. Her breasts and buttocks were protruding, and she exuded an amazing charm. Her blood-red hair added an inexplicable charm to her. She was biting her lips lightly, and the anger she exuded was enough to make one's blood boil and rush straight to one's mind. However, there was a cold and cruel look on her face. It was as if no living being in heaven and earth was worthy of her attention. Even if she had to destroy thousands of worlds and countless living beings, she would not hesitate at all. She wore a blood-red lotus battle armor that perfectly accentuated her figure, and she held a blood-red lotus battle sword in her hand. In the demon god continent, this sword could be said to be a deterrent to countless demon gods. It was called the Blood Demon Sword. Her self-created demonic technique, 7 killings of heaven and earth, had endless destructive power. The Blood Demon Emperor was actually a woman. Back then, when your avatar entered my body, the soul you possessed wasn't your original appearance. You hid it so deeply. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed that you, Demon Emperor Crippled Blood, are actually a witch. Di Shirtian tightened his grip on the Demon Slayer battle spear. He sneered. Although I was able to suppress your devil soul back then, that devil soul inexplicably dissipated. It seems that you have also cultivated a terrifying devil art that allows you to create tens of thousands of clones. He recalled that the remnant devil soul he had suppressed back then had mysteriously disappeared. For this reason, He had specially searched the entire infernal purgatory, but he could not find it. It was as if it had disappeared on its own. Humph! Demon Emperor de Chertion? So it's you. You were suppressed by the sovereign of the eventide in ancient times. At that time, I was fighting with myriad calamity Ancestor. After the battle, I wanted to find you, but I did not expect to find you. I thought that you would not dare to appear after hearing that I was here. I did not expect it to be you. The Blood Demon Emperor narrowed her eyes. A blood-red light flashed in her eyes, giving off a bloodthirsty glow. Inside her body, she was constantly absorbing endless power from the blood sea. Good. Very good. Today I can fulfill my unfulfilled wish in ancient times. I want to see how strong you are with my own eyes. So what if you use strength to prove your Tao? I will eat you. 9 Een Blood Savage Claw. Before Demon Emperor Crippled Blood finished speaking, he immediately executed his killer move. His left hand waved towards the Sakra. Instantly, a wave of blood gushed out from the sea of blood. The wave of blood condensed into a huge blood-colored jade hand. It was as if it was real, and it was abnormally agile. The 5 fingers moved rapidly, drawing countless afterimages in the air. An inexplicable Yin-Chi spread out from the blood-red demon claw. Whoosh! A layer of blood-red ice crystals appeared in the void. The surrounding blood sea was frozen at a speed visible to the naked eye. The Yin-Chi could freeze all life forms. The demon claw appeared on the Celestial Emperor's war chariot like a flying guillotine, wanting to tear it apart. Claw de Chertion to death. Roar! 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 The immemorial 9 dragons' eyes were filled with battle intent. Once again, they spat out a huge, illusory millstone of destruction in the air above the war chariot. The 9 dragons moved the millstone, creating a world-destroying force. When it collided with the blood demon claw, the blood-red Yin-Chi almost froze the void, sealing the millstone in ice. However, the millstone was pushed by the 9 dragons' power. It rotated in circles, and with every rotation, it spat out countless world-destroying disasters. Wind, rain, thunder, lightning, poison, divine fire, and so on. It clashed fiercely with the demon claw. The demon claw was extremely terrifying. Even the millstone's rotation seemed to be suppressed by it. Rumble! After a long stalemate, the millstone of destruction crushed the demon claw. Proving your Tao with strength is not the right Tao. You don't have an immortal primordial spirit. Let's see how you can withstand my 7 killings of heaven and earth. The blood demon emperor's face was cold, and a cruel look appeared at the corner of his mouth. He raised the blood-red blood demon sword with the blood lotus mark. Suddenly, an inexplicable hatred emerged from his body. In the sea of blood, waves of peerless killing intent turned into streaks of blood-red light and flew towards the demon's sword. Then, blood-red lotuses appeared on the demon's sword. 7 killings, killing God! The blood demon emperor stood on the huge 9th-grade blood lotus. The blood demon's sword in his hand was filled with boundless killing intent as it slashed towards de Chertion. With this slash, a blood-red sword light came out from the demon's sword and slashed towards de Chertion. The blood-red sword light was extremely strange. It even had a hint of illusory charm. Heavenly Emperor's canopy. World-destroying millstone. Sakra's heart was calm and he did not panic in the slightest. Layers upon layers of techniques were executed in a neither slow nor slow manner as they bombarded the blood-colored sword light that was filled with murderous intent, intending to crush it in one fell swoop. Even the crippled blood demon emperor would not be able to make him tremble in fear. Swoosh! However, the sword light was extremely strange. It didn't collide with the world-exterminating millstone at all. The moment it came into contact, the sword light seemed to not exist. It twisted and shuttled through the millstone as if it didn't exist. The sword light pierced through the Celestial Emperor's canopy like lightning and landed on the Sakra's head, instantly slashing into his body. It was submerged. This sword light is not attacking my physical body, but my primordial spirit. This move is called killing God. He wants to destroy my divine soul. With the peerless killing intent contained in the sword light, he wants to destroy my primordial spirit in one fell swoop. Destroy. I don't have an immortal primordial spirit. If my primordial spirit is destroyed, it will be extremely dangerous. The moment the sword light entered Shirtian's body, he immediately reacted. This sword light was targeting his divine soul. The crippled blood devil emperor was simply targeting his weak spot to launch a massacre. The blood-red sword light directly rushed into the demon palace. It turned into a ferocious blood demon sword and slashed towards the demon refining cauldron in the center. That sword wanted to destroy the demon refining cauldron and the 11th grade black lotus inside. Bang! This time, it came too suddenly. The demon emperor's peerless combat skill contained the peerless killing intent that was condensed from countless massacres in the Blood Sea. Even a wisp of that peerless killing intent could easily crush an ancient giant into pieces. Moreover, it was a demon sword condensed from killing intent. Its power was terrifying. It was not as simple as one or two wisps of killing intent superimposed. In the demon palace, it was as if heaven and earth were being split apart. It slashed on the demon refining cauldron. The demon refining cauldron trembled violently and spun counterclockwise. Countless mysterious runes were spat out from the cauldron. These runes revolved around the jade cauldron. They contained a mysterious power that protected the primordial spirit from destruction. However, they still could not be compared to the terrifying killing sword. In the past, Shirtian's strongest point was his primordial spirit. With the protection of the demon refining cauldron, it was as stable as Mount Tai. However, now, his demon body was far stronger than his primordial spirit. His primordial spirit had become a weakness. The defense of the demon refining cauldron was extremely difficult for an ordinary peerless expert to break. However, for a terrifying killing god like the Blood Demon Emperor, it was the most direct weakness. This killing god targeted the primordial spirit. Even the demon refining cauldron could not withstand it. Crack! Countless terrifying cracks appeared on the cauldron at a speed visible to the naked eye. Almost instantly, the demon refining cauldron suffered unprecedented damage. Poof! Almost immediately, a mouthful of blood was spat out from his mouth. Extreme Emperor Dao, Celestial Demon Morning. Shirtian's black hair danced wildly behind him. He did not flinch at the severe damage to the demon palace. Instead, a determined look appeared in his eyes. He instantly pulled out Tiger Soul with his left hand. With a domineering tiger roar, the 3,000 celestial demons and the battle saber charged towards the Blood Demon Emperor. It was as beautiful as the setting sun. This was the desperate counterattack of the celestial demons after their death. Endless killing intent swept towards the Blood Demon Emperor like a tidal wave. The power of desire, the sorrow of heaven and earth? The Blood Demon Emperor felt a despairing killing intent from the celestial demon Morning. When the killing intent entered her mind, even she felt as if she was in front of an abyss of despair and was about to die with endless regret. Thinking back to the battle in the ancient times, she felt as if she was really going to die under a certain battle saber. Her mind was in a trance. She was in a trance. The golden blade of the tiger soul drew a resplendent and perfect arc in the air and slashed down on the demon emperor's snow-white and alluring neck. If you want to know what happened next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 992. First update: there are 2 more chapters. The Blood Sea seemed to have a will of its own. When it saw that the Demon Emperor was in danger, waves of blood rose from the ground and condensed into lifelike blood-red divine dragons that were hundreds of thousands of feet long. They spat out endless killing intent and blocked the Tiger Soul Saber. Kacha. Ripples undulated on the golden saber. Saber patterns that resembled fish bones swam back and forth continuously, as if many divine tigers were roaring and galloping. The 3,000 gods and demons followed the circulation of the saber and gathered in the saber, causing the divine radiance emitted by the tiger soul to become restrained. It only drew an almost perfect arc in the air. Roar, roar, roar. The blood dragons let out sorrowful cries and used their bodies to block the tiger soul saber. With Di Shirtian's current strength, when he used the Emperor Dao, the power was so strong that it could almost split the heavens and the earth. It had reached an unbelievable peak. Even though the blood dragons contained peerless killing intent, under absolute power, when the golden saber light swept past, huge dragon heads were thrown into the air one after another. Blood spurted into the air like a fountain, and it rained blood in the sea of blood. Bang! The tiger soul was just about to slash the demon emperor's neck. Due to the influence of the life of the gods and demons, it was impossible for him to dodge in his daze. As long as the tiger's soul landed, it would immediately slash off his head. However, just as the tiger soul was about to slash, the grade 9 blood lotus under his feet suddenly shot out countless blood lotuses. It was as if the lotuses had just been born and were still bud. They enveloped the demon emperor within them. When the tiger's soul slashed at the blood-colored lotuses, an inconceivable toughness was emitted from the lotuses. Not only did the lotuses deflect the power of the saber, but when the lotuses were cut apart by the tiger soul, new petals would immediately grow out to block the saber. Between destruction and destruction, new petals would grow and multiply endlessly. It was as if the blood lotuses were connected to the sea of blood. It was as if the power was endless. The surrounding void was annihilated inch by inch under the saber. Even the entire sea of blood was trembling slightly. However, no matter how domineering the tiger soul was, it was unable to break through the defense of the blood lotuses. It was as if it was fighting against the entire sea of blood. Rumble! However, just as all of blood lotus power was gathered under the tiger soul blade to block tiger soul's attack, a silver-white torrent tore through the air without any warning and instantly appeared in front of blood lotus. Taking advantage of the moment blood lotus and tiger soul were in a deadlock, the battle spear spat out a tyrannical mighty force that almost pierced through the primal chaos, breaking the surface with a single point. 6th Devil Slayer strike. The blood lotus trembled violently, unable to withstand the demon slayer battle spear's momentum. The battle spear carried boundless might as it pierced through the defense of the blood lotus and appeared in front of the demon emperor's chest without any mercy. The battle spear trembled, and a terrifying vibrating force erupted from the spear. Every moment there would be tens of millions of vibrations, and even space itself would be shattered. The power of the Devil Slayer erupted. Demon Emperor crippled Blood's entire body was minced into billions of pieces by the unstoppable force and shot out in all directions. Di Shirtian had proven his Tao through strength, and his strength was inexhaustible. His battle prowess was far beyond imagination. On top of that, Demon Emperor crippled Blood had been sealed for countless years, and his demonic arts and cultivation had been obliterated to a similar level. He did not possess the might of the Sky Demon, who had dominated the primordial age. At this moment, he was minced into pieces by the spear. A sword for a spear. Crash! The moment Demon Emperor crippled Blood was killed, the blood lotus under his feet mysteriously shattered into pieces and disappeared. Crack! A huge blood-red sword light suddenly appeared behind the Celestial Emperor's war chariot. A blood-red demonic sword swept up the boundless killing intent in the blood sea and emitted boundless sharpness. It was as though countless scenes of slaughter were constantly appearing in the sword light. It gathered into an invincible and peerless killing intent. With just a move, the void under the sword shattered. The boundless sharpness shattered everything. 7 kills. Killing body. This sword was aimed at the physical body. Any defense, no matter how strong the physical body was, under this peerless killing intent, it would be easily cut into pieces and cut into 1,000 pieces. Ultimate Emperor indestructible body. Although he did not witness it with his own eyes, he felt a strong sense of danger from his back. He instinctively activated the Ultimate Emperor indestructible body, and the undying divine rings let out crisp heavenly sounds as they were born from his flesh. Waves of undying will flooded the blood sea like a tide. Sadness, joy, anger, fear, and other desires filled every inch of the area. The divine rings were like purple gold glass. They were surrounded by divine light. The blood-red sword slashed at the undying divine rings the moment they appeared. Ding, ding, ding. When the two collided, it felt like small pearls falling on a jade plate. The peerless killing sword was truly terrifying. It could be said to be invincible. The undying divine rings that could withstand the attacks of a peerless expert were shattered by the killing sword. The divine rings shattered into thousands of pieces and shot in all directions. In an instant, out of the 10 divine rings, 8 of them were shattered on the spot. However, the peerless killing intent in the killing sword was also destroyed by the undying divine rings, and more than half of the killing intent was consumed. When the sword slashed at the divine rings again, it did not break the divine rings. Instead, it was rebounded by a domineering force from the divine rings. The divine light that it emitted was about to destroy the killing sword. At the same time, the shattered divine rings were rapidly regenerating from his flesh at a speed that was visible to the naked eye. In the blink of an eye, the 10 undying divine rings began to revolve around his demonic body again. Rumble! The silver-white battle spear blasted backward like lightning and collided violently with a blood-red demonic sword. The power contained in the spear blasted the other party thousands of feet away. He suddenly turned around and saw the demon emperor, who had been smashed to pieces, appear in front of him unharmed. He was still standing on the blood lotus. "You are not injured at all." A threatening light flashed across Shirtian's eyes. He was not surprised that the spear did not kill the demon emperor. If she could be killed so easily, she would have been killed long ago in the Antiquity Age. She would not have survived until now. Even though the spear contained boundless demon-slaying power, he still felt that it would not be easy to kill her. However, she was not injured at all. He was secretly shocked. "Humph! I am not afraid to tell you that the reason why I was not killed when I was besieged and suppressed by the peerless experts of your origin world was because of the Blood Sea. I am connected to the Blood Sea, and the Blood Sea will not dry up. Even if you smash me to pieces, I can still regenerate my body and be in perfect condition. Do you really think you can kill me with just you alone? Even if I have not recovered to my prime, you still can't do anything to me in the Blood Sea. Today, no one can stop me from breaking the seal." The demon emperor's beautiful eyes were filled with a cold, killing intent. With just one exchange, she knew that it would be difficult to kill Shirtian today. However, it was even more impossible for him to kill her. In the Blood Sea, she was immortal and indestructible. Crazy Emperor, I can see that the Blood Sea is connected to the origin world and has merged with the Tao of Killing. As long as the Tao of Killing still exists in this world, the Blood Sea will not dry up. If I am not wrong, the Demon Emperor has refined the entire Blood Sea. As long as the Blood Sea does not dry up, it will be extremely difficult to kill her. No wonder the Antiquity Age only sealed her here. Dark narrowed his eyes and carefully observed the situation of the Blood Sea. The result of this observation made him feel as if there were countless huge waves rolling and surging crazily in his mind. "Humph, Demon Emperor, no one can stop me from breaking the seal today. After I am free, I will definitely come and find you again." The Demon Emperor glared at Shirtian. She could not do anything, so she immediately thought of a way to break the seal and escape. She did not even think about it. With a wave of her arm, the demon's sword in her hand broke through the air in a mysterious trajectory. 7 kills, kill the heavens! Boom, boom. Countless murderous intents in the sea of blood quickly gathered towards her like a tide, forming a huge blood-colored vortex below the blood lotus. This vortex gathered endless murderous intents and poured them into the blood lotus before being sent into the demonic sword by the blood lotus. In an instant, she seemed to have become one with the sea of blood. With a wave of her sword, 8 blood-red sword lights that were thousands of feet long slashed towards the 8 demon-locking pillars around the demon-subduing lake. In the sword lights, there was a terrifying will that wanted to kill even the heavens. Blood in the heavenly Tao, slash it with one slash. One could see how ferocious the demon emperor was. Gotcha! The 8 sword lights landed on the demon-locking pillars. Immediately, the sturdy demon-locking pillars were split into 2. In the blink of an eye, the 8 trigrams that appeared in mid-air dimmed and started to dissipate. It was on the verge of shattering. Rumble! The blood sea shook violently, rolling up huge waves of blood. It actually rose into the air, and carried the demon emperor away from the demon-subduing lake. Completely broke the seal and left. You want to leave? Not so easy. Deshirtian's eyes flashed. Seeing the blood sea carrying the demon emperor away, how could he let her leave so easily? She was at her weakest now. If he allowed her to recover, the next time he faced the demon emperor would be when she was at her peak. Not only would the heavenly sound tribe be annihilated, but the demon tribe would also be in great trouble. He would have another terrifying enemy. If he wanted to eliminate such a threat, this was the best opportunity. If he missed this opportunity, it would be even more difficult for such a thing to happen again. Demon City, supreme divine weapon, seal the heavens and earth, imprison the 8 extremities. Deshirtian stood on the celestial emperor's war chariot with a resolute look on his face. He shouted coldly, and his entire mind was instantly connected with the demon city in the southern wilderness. It was as though there was an invisible passageway in the void. As long as he was not in a unique forbidden place like the Tong Tian Tower, no power could block his connection with the demon city. To him, the myriad demon city was a different type of natal artifact. To be continued. If you want to know what will happen next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author, support the original reading. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.